Lots of things to talk about, man.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, how was your week? Last week was amazing, eh? Ended with a bang.
Man, today my wife was telling me that she saw this news article, or I think she saw it in the news. I'm not sure if it's here. I think it was in America. Fuck, man, everything happens over there, isn't it? It was in America,
Uh-huh.
and what happened there was two Teslas were parked side by side, and they were the same color. This guy
I
came in.
heard.
You heard about it? Okay, this guy came
Yeah.
in, and he unlocked the other Tesla, sat in it, and drove away. And I was like, oh man,
First,
it must be fake news. First world
first world
problems.
problem.
And I was like,
My
how is that
Tesla.
even
Oh,
possible, man?
Shalom. But it's like wouldn't I would know. I would sit in somebody else's Tesla.
Exactly,
I'm like,
bro.
why?
Exactly.
Why is it so clean?
Exactly. I mean, like, yeah, exactly. As soon as you sit in, like, how can you not know it's your fucking car, bro? I mean, like, if you sit in someone's car, you should know what it is, right? I mean, इतना क्या हो गया यार?
Kind of shows that how what's the right word? It's
Oblivious people are.
not
Yeah.
oblivious. How everybody lives in a same reality or like same
Mm,
kind of um
mm,
wannabe clean stuff. Like, hey, this is I need to make it look the same like everybody else's shit.
mm,
Because if
mm,
it
mm,
was my
mm,
car, it would
mm,
smell of
mm,
cigarettes, or
Exactly.
something, and like shits all around. I'll be like, fuck yeah, this is mine.
No, plus if he,
Uh,
I think he had kids as well, or I think he was loaded groceries or something. I can't. But dude, there'll be other people's shit in your car. It's like when you sit there, there'll be all this stuff. The place right under the tablet. It's
yeah,
got the
it's
what do you
very
call?
obscure.
Yeah, it's even if it's the same car. I mean, if you let's say drove a Corolla, you sat in someone else's Corolla, you know, fucking it's not your Corolla. Come on, man. No,
Yeah,
I mean, but
stupid
dude, I
shit.
mean, in the last 2 3 years, the kind of like, especially in Australia, bro, there is always at least one news. You know, we have Channel 7 and 9. They're fucking just ridiculous. They're, it's shit, right? And at least once a month, there is at least one news clipping about some guy driving off the road, and it's got a combination of an accident and autopilot. It's always something to do with two of these things. The guy
Yeah,
will be with his family, he will go off the fucking rails, and then the police will come and he'll be like, oh, my car was on autopilot. I'm not sure what happened. The car got a mind
really.
of its own. Dude, it was so common. Every few months, every 2 months at least, there'll be like one news, and
Yeah, everybody is a mini
a
government.
Model X or
They don't
yeah,
take the blame.
yes,
It's not
and
me.
it's not me. I
It's the
didn't fucking
car.
dude. There was an Indian lady. She ran over a fucking bicyclist and then got caught all on camera. Okay, no, not a bicyclist. Sorry, sorry. It was a tram. A tram came and
Oh
stopped
my.
because you know how in Australia, right, the trams are running side by side to the roads where the cars are inner city,
Yeah,
right?
like yeah.
So tram rookie, the person came out and this fucking she just ran over the person and it was a hit and run. She ran away. And then she came back to the police after like an hour or half an hour later, saying that I hit and ran and the car was on autopilot and the car did not stop or some shit that she made shit up.
Wow.
But the good
Wow.
thing is, which was astonishing actually, the cop said that it's fine what she did. There are a lot of hit and run cases where most of the time the hit and run is because the person panics, so they run. So they didn't put her
Oh
in
wow.
jail or anything. Yeah, they didn't press any charges, bro. They just said, like, you know what, it happens. People panic, they run away, and then they usually come back. So a lot of times people hit and run, and then they come back. Yesterday, I went to visit a friend, and I parked my car outside on the main street. It's one of those
Right.
new suburbs where all the it's a ghetto in the making, as I like to
Oh
call it.
wow.
Yeah, so it's all these new suburbs where all the Desi people mostly working in IT or logistics, driving
Oh,
trucks or whatnot. When they move down here, they move into that suburb. It's one of those suburbs. I don't
right.
want to name it. So I went down there to visit him, and I parked my car over there.
Why
And he
can't you
said,
name
"Bro,
it?
oh man, I just don't want to call it. It is. I think it's a ghetto, but people don't agree with me that it's a ghetto.
So
So
why don't you say it?
what? Okay, I'll say the name. And Tarneet, So this is a place Tarneet.
What?
Okay, Tarneet.
Oh, Thane.
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
place known as Tarneet, right? It's a fucking ghetto.
Okay.
And the reason it's become a ghetto is it's a whole different podcast. But in short, the reason become become a ghetto is because there's no infrastructure. The only
Right.
thing that exists there
Uh-huh.
is block of land and a house on it. That's it, and a road in and out. There's no school, no,
Mm.
not enough schools, not enough supermarkets, not enough bridges coming in and out. Like
Mm.
there's no infrastructure. So what is happening
Okay, so
is you're
why is it
moving
a
down there.
ghetto? If you don't have infrastructure,
One kind
doesn't
of
make it a
people.
ghetto.
No, one kind of people moving in. So it becomes a ghetto. So all the neighbors become nosy. It's the same population from the same part of the town in India, Pakistan,
No, you
mostly
wild
Punjabi community.
racist.
Not racist. It's a ghetto. Ghetto. So basically, there's not enough. They say that they want multiculturalism, but the problem is that they have one culture per suburb. That becomes a problem because you have a huge
Mm.
problem. Australia is a huge fucking country, bro. I guess, similar to the size of Canada, but unlike Canada, which is fucking 70% not is useless because
Sure.
no man can live there. Here, fucking most of it, at least 70% is useful land, so you can actually populate it. But
Mm.
apart from central Australia, which is super fucking hot, everything else is
Oh,
on the coast. People live on the coast. So
right.
Melbourne being one of those places, there are a lot of suburbs just like Tarneet, where you have your Vietnamese ghettos. I mean, used to be, not anymore. After the
Oh,
Vietnam War, there's a ghetto for there's basically you pick one ethnicity and that ethnicity is occupying an entire suburb. Now what happens is
oh,
that even if the infrastructure is there, those people don't get fucking along. Right. So a good example of they not getting along happened yesterday. I went and parked my car there. The guy told me like, bro, take your car out of the way, park it in my driveway. Don't park it on the street. I was like, why? He was like, yesterday there was a guy, Desi fella. He drove his Range Rover and he hit a fucking truck. And this truck was like a mid-sized lorry, you know, which has a what do you call like a lift, to put furniture in and out, take washing machines in and out. It had
mm-hmm.
a lift, and the whole part of the fucking structure got broke along with the rear headlight of this semi truck was all made out of metal. It was a complete metal construction, that this fucking guy took it out. He drove a Range Rover. He hit at 1 o'clock at night, and then he hit and run. He went home, and then 4 o'clock he comes back. He walks down to the house, knocks on the door. The guy who owns the truck, so he obviously knows him, right? I mean, knows that this guy lives on the street. Knocks on his door, tells him, "Okay, bhai, galti ho gayi. I was high. I'm still high. I hit your fucking truck, but I don't have insurance. So what I'm gonna do is I have a Lebanese mate. He will do your
Sort you
truck
out.
up. He'll sort you out. Just give me your number and everything. I'll get it sorted." And he's like, "No, I want to do it through insurance. I don't
Oh
want to do
boy.
it through your fucking Lebanese friend. You hit my fucking car. You ran away. Just give me your number plate. I'll contact my insurance, and I want to get it done with my own repairer, like my own guy, like whatever, like I've agreed to."
Yeah,
He was
but
like,
that's stupid. The guy came to him. He said, "Hey, listen, I'll fix you up."
"Yeah." The other issue is that we have these dodgy repair people as well. You understand? The
Okay,
guys,
but
yeah,
he could have said that, "Hey, listen, I understand that, but I would rather take it to my guy. Fuck the insurance company. You're paying
yeah,
for it. Let's just do it."
yeah. So
But yeah,
anyway, he didn't
people are
agree with it.
idiots.
He didn't agree with it,
Yeah,
and he told
dumb.
him, and I think both are Punjabis. I think so. Anyway, the guy told him, the guy told him that, look, I want to get insurance now. First of all, I don't appreciate you hit and run, and you come back after
Oh
four
boy.
o'clock, and you come back in this condition. You're fucking high as fuck. All right. And anyway, what's done is done. Just give me a number plate. I'll do
Man's
just
gotta
fine.
be fucking living. So fuck you. I'm with the guy with the Range Rover. Sorry.
So,
Fuck
and
you.
then, no, no, look at this guy. This guy goes to him that, you know what, fuck you. I've hidden, I've parked my Range Rover. You will not be able to find it. I parked it somewhere.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, I parked somewhere. I'm not giving you my number plate. Your only option is to get it repaired by my guy. You know, just give me your
Uh-oh.
details. I'll get someone to come tow your fucking truck and fix it
Abandoned.
up and get back to you. And then this is why I call it a. I mean, this is the pros of having being in a ghetto. Okay, the guy walked away. He said, "Fuck you. You got my number. Call me when you get your shit fixed. You wanna call the cops? Call the fucking cops. You know they can't do fuck
I'm
jack
done.
shit, right? I'm done. I'm
Fuck
giving
you.
you my offer. My offer is nothing." And he walks off. And then this fella,
I like this guy.
and then this guy
He's a
calls me
dumb
back.
asshole, but whatever.
नहीं
It's
नहीं फिर
funny.
ये बंदा this on top of that, right? Then this guy he calls in this his other neighbor.
Yeah.
After this guy walks away, he's like, "Fuck, I'm
Uh,
fucked. What should I do?" So he looks at his camera and he's like, "Okay, I don't have a camera facing outwards, but my neighbors have cameras facing outwards on the street."
uh-oh.
So
Uh-oh.
he calls my mate, right, the one where I parked my car when I went for dinner with family. तो उसको बुलाया सबको इकट्ठा कर लिया मैं जो बोला कि ये बंदा है फलाना फलाना वो गली के एंड में रहता है so he's done this to me can you please look up your so they looked at up all the footage and everything and they stitched the whole thing together they got a video
Oh my.
with his number plate on it and then they
Oh
went to see him they told him look bro we got your fucking number plate now you're gonna come back to the line or what so he's like okay I'm fucked now can't do anything I gave you a good offer you know trying to do the right thing but you guys are trying to fuck me. Nothing now. They're
oh
going
my.
through insurance now, but that's the problem with the ghetto, right? So that I mean that's not the problem. That's the pro, but the con is that because it is not multicultural, people kind of start feeling that the place where they left, they are in the same place. So the rules don't apply to them because they live in that society where everybody around them is from the same place they came from. So they start behaving the same way with you because you, if he was some Latin American or some Chinese dude, and he had his truck fucking reared by this guy, he would have not even thought about offering him anything like that. He would be like, you know what, I'm sorry, it's my mistake, you know, take my number plate, get it fixed. But this guy, he tried to basically, you know, twist his arm a little bit by saying, कि नहीं देखो,
I would
you're Desi,
I
I'm
would
Desi.
argue that whoever this guy was driving
He
high.
was gangster though.
Uh,
Yeah, but the
so
problem is that he
he
should
would
not
have
have
been
admitted. What he did is basically he was under the influence and he hit the car. He went back, shouldn't have smoked up and come back in. He was still high. He should have just calmed down a little bit, come back next day after seven,
yeah.
10 hours, and just keep it normal, saying, hey, you know, I hit the car last night. Nobody was around. I didn't know it was your truck. I mean, you're living in this house, and I don't want to disturb people at 1 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning, ringing their
Nice.
bell. Whatever. Anyway, man, what I'm saying is that it is a fucking ghetto, right? It is a fucking
Yeah.
ghetto, right? People
Oh
behave
wow.
like the way people behave over there. There is no law, you know. And dude, there's shit everywhere. There's stone tires. There's garbage on the fucking street.
Hmm.
Nobody's looking after their patch, you know, the green patch, you know.
Oh, it's like
Nobody's
save
mo-
air,
nobody's mowing their
you know,
fucking lawns.
save an airline ticket and fucking go there and enjoy fucking Punjab.
Yeah, you know, and it's like, and yeah, and it just, it's like it's fucked. Like the weird part is this, right? Everybody's invested a lot of money, spent a lot of money making the best fucking house.
Hmm.
Amazing doors with Aarti on it and everything. If
It
it's a
looks like
muzi,
Lahore, man.
yeah, if it's a muzi, they've also done it. If they're a Christian, Bengali, whatever, right? Everybody spends shitloads of money trying to make it look really nice. You know,
So
first
it's
floor,
like
second floor,
Lahore.
the balcony. Yeah, it's like that. Everybody's done. But it's only
Everybody's got a good house,
everybody's got a good
but
house. But apart
when
from
you get
that,
out,
everything
it's
was
a
shit.
fucking shit.
Yeah, yeah. If you get out, it's a fucking shithole. The roads are shit. People throwing garbage on nobody like this garbage right there on the front lawn, they don't bother picking it.
Right.
So the
Yeah.
thing is that you go to the normal suburbs, the established suburbs, I would call them, where a mix of Aussie, Greek, Italian, whatever these people live. Yes, it's a different generation as well. I think it's to do with different generations as well. So I believe that if, let's say, hypothetically speaking, if it was just, let's say, young Australians, it would have different set of issues, drug problems, all kinds of shit going on. People with loud cars, big exhausts, at night, 11 o'clock, people fucking in certain
Right.
suburbs, they will at a zone of 20, 30 kilometers, they'll be flying at fucking 60, 70 kilometers an hour.
Good
People be
for
sleeping
them.
at night. Yeah, and like they really drive fast. And there's kids bicycling and everything, and these guys are fucking flying through it. So we have these youths. I think I told you about them. With V8s, V8 Commodore,
I
V8
know about them.
Holden's. Yeah,
I've been in Australia.
fuck man. Yeah.
I
So
know. I know how it is.
there are there are different kinds of ghettos. So ghettos are not just from this. Ghettos are not just created by the people from the subcontinent. It's from any part of the world. And there are Australian families and
You
Australian
mean
suburbs that
you
have their
mean
own
like
problems.
any town? It's like Greek
Any town,
town, Italian town.
any new town, like Lebanese have that issue as well. The Lebanese community have their own fucking issues.
Allah.
Yeah, yeah, oh my God, it's a huge issue. It's not yeah. The Filipinos have their own.
No,
It's a human problem. It's not something to do with
you
race.
are just a bigot. You do not like these people, and you should be deported to your own country
I
because
should be
where you
proud.
come from,
Yeah.
you should be
So
proud of what's happening. This is how diversity is done.
inclusion,
You
man,
don't know
inclusion.
shit. You don't know shit.
There's a place here in Victoria known as Becca's Marsh. It's known as the Becca's Marsh. Okay, two things come from
Hmm.
there. Lots of lettuce and cabbage. Okay, come from there.
Oh,
And second, crystal meth.
uh,
It's the meth capital of fucking Victoria, bro. The amount of
oh
drugs that
my
come. Oh
fucking
man,
hell.
yeah. And it has one of the best schools as well. So it's a perfect killer combination of cabbage, fucking crystal meth, and the best school in the one of the best schools in
Fucking.
in that part of the town. So
Does Walter White teach us over there or something?
must be, man, someone who's good at making
Good
growing cabbage,
chemistry
someone who's
chemistry
good at
teacher.
growing cabbage and cooking crystal meth. Yeah, dude, the amount of
Uh,
drug
uh,
busts that happen here.
uh,
In like every year, huge amount of drug busts happen. But I kind of feel like in that the enforcement also is kind of involved or something. It's shady, man.
that's so yeah, dude, anything that's like, I'm a free market guy, so to me it's like, yeah, keep the fucking drugs on. Who gives a fuck? Keep the drugs on, keep everything on. Just give me a gun.
Hmm. Yeah, John Howard, he
Don't come in
removed
my
guns.
property.
I think there was a case. I think it happened in Tasmania when was it?
But
It was in
technically,
yeah.
all these drugs will have no value if they are not illegal.
Yeah, that's a problem with it.
If they're legal, then anybody can buy a drug. And then people will be like, hey, does that make sense? Is this life good? It's a
Hmm.
monkey see, monkey do world.
Yeah, I think it's known as the
So,
Port Arthur massacre in 996.
mhm.
The massacre happened, and in that
Massacre.
one, 30, yeah. I mean, by American standards, probably not a massacre, but dude, for Australian standards, it's definitely a massacre.
Okay.
So in
Oh, yeah.
April 996, 35 people were killed and 18 were injured from with the lone
Mm.
gunman who was on a shooting rampage.
Oh my God. Fucking
And
some MK
when that,
Ultra shit there.
yeah, when that happened, bro, John Howard, then the prime minister, who's like,
Oh,
best
I
mates
know
with
that.
America. Yeah, he was the all time. He was the liberal, or you would say the. I think in America there's no equivalent because most parties in Australia are kind of socialist. Even the liberal ones are somewhere in the center from the left. You know what I mean? They're not.
But
There's
it's
no such thing
it's
as a super
everywhere.
right party.
It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
So this one here, John Harvard, he basically then decided that we will take all the guns away.
Oh
And
wow.
they forced
Oh,
all the guns away from the Australian people. So it
oh
happened way
my.
before I came and assimilated into this country.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it was a terrible
So,
tragedy. I mean, when it
I
happened.
know you don't like guns. So,
I think the, the issue with the
You know,
gun.
the Punjabi in you doesn't like guns. That's
Well,
fucked
I
up.
have fired
You
gun
know, you're
arm.
not.
I mean, I have
You're not a
fired.
Punjabi. You're some
I've had
fucking
fired firearms in Pakistan.
hybrid.
Yeah, I've fired a
Okay.
shotgun and everything, and like in the I have a mate. He literally owns an entire village. I used to go to school with
Hmm.
him in Dubai. So when I went back to visit, he told me, "Oh, dude, you want to like fire a shotgun or a rifle?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, why not?" So I went there, and we were standing in this field of sugarcane, and he had a guard, the guy who also drives and protects the fucking thing. They have all these big fucking four wheelers that drive over there. क्योंकि वहाँ तो पक्की सड़कें होती नहीं है. So he goes to me, Janab, you want to like fire a fucking weapon? I was like, yeah, why not? So he gave me, he would load everything for me, and he just tell me, okay, pull the trigger. The
Hmm.
recoil is so hard. It took my fucking shoulder out, bro. My shoulder was sore for 2 days. The shotgun with two barrels. इतना खड़ाक होता है, and your ears just give out, man, when it actually goes off. But the
All
thing
right.
is, I think with firearms in Australia, I think when you need to first create a culture before you can open up firearms. The
Really.
culture is not here because they took away in 96 they took guns away in 96. Now you have an entire
Hmm.
generation since the 90s till now. That's like
Hmm.
what, 20 some 25 years or 30 years or more, right?
Well,
Or I'm
and
not good
then
at
the
math. Yeah.
government needs to regulate it and make sure everything is safe.
You can get a
I think
license
it's
here.
all it's kind of stupid to be honest. Like
It is
that
stupid, bro.
argument, like
Yeah.
oh, we need, people need to come. No, it's gonna be sensible. Like I don't own a gun. I don't have a license, but I have been to gun. You know, I've met people who own guns. You know, the mindset is so different. Like yeah, they are the most safest,
Hmm.
most very sharp
They have
people
vaults in
because
their
they
house, and they know how
not
to
just
store them and
no, fuck
everything.
the walls, fuck the walls. That's all bullshit. The people who own guns, okay, irrespective of the government telling them what the fuck to do, you are carrying something that's so dangerous in your hand that you have to be very careful. It's like if I give you a Ferrari or like a sports car with a 1000 HP or 800 HP, right? You're not, you, only an idiot would drive it stupidly and he will die.
Yeah.
And to me, that's Darwinism. You
Hmm.
fucked up. You're not
You gotta be
allowed to live.
careful.
Yeah. So it's like the same conversation I have. Like, fuck, let people be, and if they're idiots, they will kill themselves or kill people around them or whatever. The people will be like, hey, 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 you want to own a gun? Stay the fuck away from me unless I see that you are a responsible gun owner.
Hmm.
So, but then when the government comes and says, no, no, we will control how you use the gun, what gun you can use. Because in Canada, our supreme leader,
Hmm. Hmm.
Justin
Hmm.
Trudeau, just banned hunting rifles in Canada.
What's the
Like,
reason?
listen, we should just always, we don't like guns, it's a bad thing. And I was like, dude, there are people who live in the fucking woods up north, live in the fucking
With all the feral
rural
animals and all
areas.
that. Yeah.
They need fucking guns, and you're taking away the rifles? Like, that's the level of stupidity is so much with these people. And the people who make those decisions sit at home in their cushy homes, dead slaves, sitting at home, not knowing shit, you know, and making those decisions for the people outside who have to live that life where fucking there are bears, fucking coyotes, wolves,
Hmm.
shit like that. And also, let's not forget, there might be some bad people,
Hmm.
and the cops can't come to you in like
Straight
five
away
minutes
in
because
five
there's not
minutes. Yeah.
they're not cops like every other place. It's not viable economically. You're not in a city. So these people living in the city, I live in the city. We
Mm-hmm.
live, we leave the city, but I live in the city, and I would not make the decision like that. I mean, if I don't want to have a gun, I will not have a gun. But if my neighbors have guns,
Then you have to have it. Yeah. Now, if you, it's
no,
like what
no,
Tim Pool
not
is saying,
because,
right?
not because of that. I keep, I'm very neighborly. I keep good relationships with my neighbors. So I'm never scared of being fucking shot by a neighbor because I'm not gonna fuck with the neighbor. The neighbor can do whatever the hell they want as long as they don't do it in my property. And even if they have
Mm,
a gun and I don't, I'll be like, hey, listen, buddy, this is
mm,
my property. Can you step the fuck away?
mm.
And the fact that they have a gun, they will respect my property rights.
Yeah.
They will be like, yeah, he's right. He's in his property. If he wants to do a bhangra, if he wants to have a fucking, Islamic convention,
Yeah, yeah, go
it's
over it.
his
Yeah.
property. As long as he's not doing it on my property and he's making my life hard, it doesn't matter. But if we are not neighborly to our neighbors, right? It doesn't matter. If you have a gun or you don't have a gun, people will hate you. So to me, it's like this argument about the anti-gun argument is so stupid. It's just stupid. Like we have seen in history what happens to states where there are no guns. You know,
Mm.
that's why we leave those countries to go to countries where you have the fucking right
To
to do
protect
whatever the fuck
yourself.
you want.
Yeah. No, it's like
But
what
if
Tim
you
Pool
if you're
said.
in,
Yeah, if you look at Tim
oh,
Pool, right? He mentions that the idea that look, you do not need to think like a prepper, but you need to understand what prepping is in case you end up in that situation. He said, like,
well,
the idea of moving, living regionally, the idea of being independent, having your own farm, a small farm in the
yeah,
backyard, basically, have a few chickens. And dude, my neighbor's got chickens,
good for
and the lady gives me eggs all the time, and I swear
mm,
by God, the eggs that they give me, when you eat them, they're completely a different taste compared to the any free range or any fucking most expensive eggs that you can buy off the shelf from the supermarket. You can literally tell the difference. And when you
yeah.
crack the egg, you
But
can feel the shell, and everything.
so
Yeah.
so coming back to the gun point though, it's like all these immigrants come to these countries where there are rights and freedoms. These people do not understand what property rights is because they never had the idea of property rights. For example,
Yeah.
in Canada, there was this. Like I was like, fuck, this place is becoming India. Like I would rather live in India and not pay these many taxes because it's stupid. Somebody sold a house, okay, of a owner who wasn't there to someone,
Mm.
took all the money, faked the sale. I was like, what the fuck? This is India? Is this
Yeah,
India,
it
Pakistan?
happens,
What the
man.
fuck's
Oh,
happening?
dude, there was
So,
this,
uh,
the
so
amount of
the so
scams
the
that are
so
happening. Yeah.
so the mindset of these people is the same mindset that they take from whatever country they come from and bring it there. Not understand. They do not understand anything. They're just fucking slaves, dead slaves. They just, oh, look at this. I could never afford a BMW in India, but over here I can just go and say, hey, I need a car. I have a shitty job. I can get a car, whatever car I want.
The
I can get an
competition,
iPhone.
the competition, the death race, the race. I actually call it the race to the grave. I mean, the, in reality, the amount of debt people have taken, the amount of big ass fucking houses they've built when the interest rate was really low, and the amount of
Hmm.
cars they've taken out, like Range Rovers, Audis, fucking Mercs, like, just to one up each other. That's what I call the ghettofication.
Yeah, it's
That is where,
it's keeping up
ghettos
the
are starting. Yeah.
appearances.
Yeah.
keeping up appearances. So, uh,
Dude, if you're trying to
yeah. So
turn
the
a corner, they won't let you turn a corner. They're like, fuck you, I'm gonna turn first. That's how they behave. And they live on your street. That's how they
mm,
behave. And it's
I
got nothing to do
mean,
with a certain ethnicity. It's just the overall thing. Like if you, let's say, move to a suburb where mostly Afghans live over there. Same shit. Same
yeah.
behavior.
So
So it's got
I
nothing to do
think
with ethnicity. It could be anybody from anywhere. But when they all get together in the same place, the guard goes completely, I guess, down or up. I'm not sure. It's like if you move to a place where there's Italians, Greeks, Vietnamese, and
mm,
you're also moving down there, you'll be much aware of like, okay, there are other people from different cultures here, so I need to like kind of behave. It kind of
I don't.
sets in that whole guard thing.
I honestly don't think it's based on race. Like in terms of like, oh, you have to be next to each other. There will be people who live in multicultural, diverse places and act the same.
But why they
It's
act the same?
because
That's the difference.
why they act the same? Because they act the same. That's how they are. Like it doesn't matter to me. I haven't seen like I don't live in a a very similar society. Like oh, we all Indians live here. I avoid that. Uh, but there will be people who do not respect the laws of the
Mm.
road. I don't see it's like, oh, it just happens in the ghetto. But there might be some truth to it. I'm not saying no, but I'm just saying that it's whatever. It's
I
not that
yeah, just
important.
for me, just
The
observe
problem
behavior.
is
Yeah.
the problem is the problem is people do not use their brains. Speaking of that, like if they get free money, they say, oh, this is amazing. I want that money.
Yeah.
Dude,
Dead. Yeah.
when you get something free, you gotta be more careful. As an animal, your animal instinct should come up and say, "Hey, this fuck." In Aladdin, the first time Aladdin goes to that cave, and the guy says, "Listen, don't touch any shit.
Mm.
Be careful." And then Abu sees this fucking huge stone. It's too good.
The
It's too good.
monkey.
You
Yeah.
go when you go pick it up, the whole thing starts falling down. That's what it is. So human society and humans do not see that. People don't see that, and they get into that situation. Then the competition comes into place. Monkey see, monkey do. Oh, he's got this. I need that.
Mm.
So it perpetuates into debt slavery. Once everybody is a debt slave, then whatever the state wants, they will just impose on you, and you will do exactly what you want. You
Yeah.
lose your freedom. You do not let people who are good to do good, because the people who are good will never come in power because everybody else is an idiot competing in the same space. So look at what happened like last week, right? Like Friday, the news came out. There was a bank in US that went bust.
Yeah, the Silicon
It
Valley
just
one.
came,
Yeah.
Silicon
Yeah.
Valley Bank. So now you will see.
Beginning of the end,
Now
brother.
you will see.
Beginning of the end.
No, I
It's
don't think
going
so. It's
down.
the end.
We need to
It's
get
not
the
the
fuck out
end.
of here.
You know, shit hitting the fan. But I think that what you will be seeing now is bank runs,
Oh, a
people
lot more.
getting more aware of like what the hell is going on. It's like I feel that our overlords wanted to wake us up. Hey, guys, this fake fruit that we've been giving you, it's not gonna be there anymore. So all this fruit that you have collected, it's rotting, and we need our fucking money. If I don't get that money, and this will create a worse society because people will do whatever the fuck they want to keep their lifestyle, and people will lose their moral sense of what's good and bad, and we will further degenerate the society we have already degenerated. So Does it make sense? So I kind of understand where all these homesteaders come from. They want to leave the city,
Hmm.
leave the city. So
Yeah.
it's very, very, so, like there was this movie, right? My Dinner with Andre. Have you seen that movie?
Which one again? Sorry, you cut out.
My Dinner with Andre. Oh, you haven't seen that movie? Okay, let
My
me,
dinner with Andre. Hold on.
yeah, My Dinner with Andre. It's a fucking,
Let's have a let's screen share, bro.
My Dinner with Andre, leave the city.
My
It's
dinner with.
hilarious.
Is that the 1981 movie?
Yeah, so, wait, yeah, right, My Dinner with Andre, leave city, YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah, we can talk about the movie later. Uh,
Leave City. Is that a sequence or
yeah, it's a whole, yeah, the 5 minute one.
this one here?
Yeah, play that.
Okay, yes, we are bored. We're all
Full
bored
screen it.
now. But has it ever occurred to you, Wally, that the process that creates this boredom that we see in the world now may very well be a self-perpetuating, unconscious form of brainwashing created by a world totalitarian government based on money? And that all of this is much more dangerous than one thinks? And it's not just a question of individual survival, Wally, but that somebody who's bored is asleep, and somebody who's asleep will not say no?
Reformed.
Uh, just go to, let me just send you the link.
This
Just go
one,
for
off
My
this one.
Dinner.
Well, why do
This
you
one
think
here?
that is? I mean, why
Yeah,
is that?
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
full
is
screen,
it just because people are
full screen.
I mean, are we just like bored, spoiled children who've just been lying in the bathtub all day, just playing with their plastic duck, and now they're just thinking, well, what can I do?
Okay, yes, we are bored. We're all bored now. But has it ever occurred to you, Wally, that the process that creates this boredom that we see in the world now may very well be a self-perpetuating, unconscious form of brainwashing created by a world totalitarian government based on money? And that all of this is much more dangerous than one thinks? And it's not just a question of individual survival, Wally, but that somebody who's bored is asleep, and somebody who's asleep will not say no? See, I keep meeting these people. I mean, just a few days ago, I met this man whom I greatly admire. He's a Swedish physicist, Gustav Bjornstrand, and he told me that he no longer watches television, he doesn't read newspapers, and he doesn't read magazines. He's
Right.
completely cut them out of his life because he really does feel that we're living in some kind of Orwellian nightmare now, and that everything that you hear now contributes to turning you into a robot. When I was at Findhorn, I met this extraordinary English tree expert who had devoted his life to saving trees. Just got back from Washington, lobbying to save the redwoods. He's 84 years old. He always travels with a backpack because he never knows where he's going to be tomorrow. And when I met him at Findhorn, he said to me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "New York." He said, "Ah, New York. Yes, that's a very interesting place. Do you know a lot of New Yorkers who keep talking about the fact that they want to leave but never do?" And I said, "Oh, yes." He said, "Why do you think they don't leave?" I gave him different banal theories. He said, "Oh, I don't think it's that way at all." He said, "I think that New York is the new model for the new concentration camp, where the camp has been built by the inmates themselves, and the inmates are the guards, and they have this pride in this thing they've built. They've built their own prison, and so they exist in a state of schizophrenia, where they are both guards and prisoners, and as a result, they no longer have, having been lobotomized, the capacity to leave the prison they've made, or to even see it as a prison." And then he went into his pocket and he took out a seed for a tree and he said, "This is a pine tree." He put it in my hand and he said, "Escape before it's too late." See, actually, for 2 or 3 years now, Chiquita and I have had this very unpleasant feeling that we really should get out. And we really feel like Jews in Germany in the late 30s. Get out of here. Of course, the problem is where to go, because it seems quite obvious that the whole world is going in the same direction.
That's right.
See, I think it's quite possible that the 1960s represented the last burst of the human being before he was extinguished. and that this is the beginning of the rest of the future now, that from now on there'll simply be all these robots walking around, feeling nothing, thinking nothing, and there'll be nobody left almost to remind them that there once was a species called a human being with feelings and thoughts, and that history and memory are right now being erased, and soon nobody will really remember that life existed on the planet.
Mm.
Yeah, so this movie was done in 1980 somewhere, right? Like I
81.
know, I saw this movie probably like 8 years ago. So in my journey, so this was radical back then. Oh, this is just a conspiracy theory. But as we go into the future, I just think it's inevitability. The fact that people don't talk about it and we call it a conspiracy theory kind of makes me more scared of what the fuck's happening, right? So, as you can see, what's gonna happen now is, yeah, all these people are going for bank runs. So Monday, manic Mondays. So this coming Monday, which would be, let's say, the 14th, oh no, or the 13th of March, exactly 3 years of the COVID lockdown. The first COVID lockdown started on March 13th, right? The whole,
For Canada?
for the, yeah, because Canada, US, I think I remember I was on a shoot March 13th, and the news came that one of the guys in the NBA got
Mm.
tested for COVID, who was like going around and licking shit and like, this COVID's not real, fuck it, yeah. And then they found out, oh, look at this guy. Oh, he got the COVID. Oh, this shit's real. Oh my God, we gotta
Fuck,
fucking
run.
do a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
lockdown.
I remember they
I was
had
like,
memes about in Pakistan, India, they had memes about like Chinese people are like a bunch of Chinese guys are standing somewhere and then they see people look at them and they run. There was this like racist meme that was going around that, oh, there's Chinese there. Must be COVID. Run. It's like back in the day, people really shit scared. That's for sure. I mean, the news media, ये वो
yeah,
सबके साथ मिला के. But
because people
come,
are not humans. These humans, okay, have no critical thinking. They don't like we are in a fight, okay, right now between smart people and stupid people. There are a
mm,
lot of rich people who are stupid, a lot of poor people who are stupid, and it's the same across the board. And the mediator, the guys who mediate this, is the government. And now you tell me, government will take whose side? The stupid people's side or the intelligent people's side? You make the decision. Like any sensible human being would be like, I think the government will be supporting the stupid people because they're easy to control.
yeah. So
Because
I
they will
think
not question them.
critical thinking is something that is lacking in most societies. Now, if you think about in I mean, if you look at what has happened to Pakistan and its entire history, it's a failed experiment. People say, oh, I mean, if you look at the Indian news media, they'll all say, the critics will say, okay, wait, it's a failed experiment. When they say the failed experiment, what they mean is that basically you decided to create another state based on a religion or a certain race of people, you might want to call it. But I would say based on religion because it was mostly Muslims. And that thing spectacularly fucking failed, right? Now,
Except for Israel.
correct, which was handed over to them. Yeah. Now, if you
Yeah,
think about
handed.
it, if you think about it, if you take that same model, that what has been happening there,
Hmm.
and you move it to any other country, people will straight away think that it is a story out of it's like a nightmare. It sounds like it's a fucking a conspiracy. If I sit somewhere randomly and someone does not know a country like Pakistan exists, and you explain to them that there is a country which is run by a secret establishment, a deep state, and that deep state puppets prime ministers,
I think
never lets
everybody
them
agrees
in.
with that.
Yeah, but the thing is that when you see it in action, that some other country is doing it with 300 something million
Oh,
people
dude,
in there. Yeah, we all agree.
all
But the weird part is that people in that country until now did not agree with it. They believe that no, for some reason we have
I do
democracy.
not believe that. I do not
Bro,
believe
most
that.
people were
I
brainwashed.
I do not believe that. I think
Hmm.
everybody innately knows deep in their heart this is what's
Yeah,
happening.
if you
For
want to say it like
sure.
that, yeah, if you want to say it like that, that they know it is, but they don't want to
Dude,
admit it or whatever, like a phases of denial kind of a thing. That I agree. But man, there are people who thought that Imran Khan actually won. He fairly and squarely won that fucking election. Whereas in India, all the congressmen, all the people in the parliament, most big politicians on television were saying, well, it's a great result for the army. The army is happy because Imran Khan has won. They put him there, obviously. And, everything is hunky dory. Matlab, in Pakistan, people were not willing to believe. People thought that he actually won, bro, by votes fair and square. They actually thought, okay, you know what, all the corrupt people are now left the country, the
huh.
army is doing what they need to do, and Imran Khan is in power. Everything is amazing. This is people. The amount of Pakistani people, even till today, actually believe that the only problem is this new general who's in power, and once he's gone, Imran Khan will come back, and everything will go back to normal. Like, dude, the amount of delusion that exists in that country. People actually think, like Javed Akhtar, right? You heard, right? He went. There was a Urdu literature festival last week,
Hmm.
2 weeks ago.
Uh,
So Javed Akhtar, he went down there. He invited us. He got invited as a guest
so
of honor.
excuse me, sir. I live in Canada, so I don't
Yeah,
give a fuck about Pakistan, India. Like,
I'll tell you something.
why the fuck are we talking about India, Pakistan as well?
It's
Like,
no, it's very similar
see,
because I think the deep state
so
is there as well.
you are making this a ghetto right now. This conversation is becoming too ghetto for me. I'm just kidding. I get
No,
your
'cause I
point,
feel
but
like
yeah. Sure.
I feel like the deep state situation. The only difference is that because we have a bit of an open media, not too much, I guess. We got Rumble, we got
Hmm.
YouTube, we got Twitter, we got all these different platforms. Like Tim Pool is not creating his own. They call it media empire, but he does not like to be called it as a media empire. He's saying that I want to create
Bullshit.
this alternative.
Bullshit.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Bullshit.
So everybody's got their
Come on.
thing. Daily Wire has Stephen Crowder. That's what his name is. Stephen Crowder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's there. All these guys, basically, even the PBD podcast,
Oh,
they all are trying.
I love
But at
PBD.
least, but at least with Patrick Bet David, right? He's a businessman, and he's like, you know what? I want my
Yeah.
own studio. I want to start my own thing.
Fuck
I
yeah.
want my own sports
Yeah.
channel. I want my own business channel. I
Fuck
want my
yeah.
own political.
I
At least he's
respect
fair.
that.
Yeah, I respect that. He's
He's
just being a
see
businessman.
see with Tim Pool, because I've been following Tim Pool since his interview on Joe Rogan. Because I've been, before Joe Rogan became popular, I've been uh, a proponent of
Dude, I
making
used
him
to I used to
popular in a
watch
way.
Infowars, bro. I used to watch Alex Jones
Yeah.
back in the day.
So, so he came on Joe Rogan. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? But he was there with Jack Dorsey and Vijay Agare, the person at Twitter, uh, who basically was proponent of all the stupid censorship. And this was back in 2017 or 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So I was like, I like this guy, Tim Pool. What the fuck's up with this guy? So I've been following Tim Pool for a long time now. His idea, and when I watch his shows, and I'm like, dude, when I watch this show, I feel like I'm back in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The American style, the American
yeah,
fuck you style. Like, hey,
yeah,
you know, everybody has a difference of opinion, right? No, everybody's not like, yeah, yeah, this is. No, this guy does not agree with this guy. There's a common thread of freedom. Like, hey, we we all want to be free from bullshit. So, Tim Pool's media empire is not a media empire. I mean, he does not want to call it that way, sure, but what he's trying to create is culture. What's the problem is the culture. Because all these immigrants that came to the Western countries, right? They bought their culture and their culture was based on complete totalitarian systems. So let's say,
Because
you
they're
know, I'm a
pre-colonial,
Muslim.
colonial,
No, I'm a
colonialism.
Muslim.
Yeah.
When I see all this cancel culture, I'm going, hey, this is no different than Sharia law. Like I'm not against Sharia law. I'm not saying, oh, Sharia law is
Well, if you
bad.
look at what Salman
I'm
Rushdie was the
I'm not
original
a
cancel culture.
self-hating Muslim.
I mean,
I'm
if
not a
they talk about cancel
self-hating
culture,
Muslim.
we started it before everybody else, bro. I mean, if you look at what we did with
No,
Salman
no,
Rushdie,
no. Hold the fucking phone.
we are the original owners of
The
cancel
real
culture.
no. Just like common law, Sharia law needs to change by time. The problem is it's been hijacked by certain people and they propagate that to create the hate against the Muslims. Most 99.9% Muslims are not bad people, but they will show that 0.01% of bad Muslims who
Yeah.
propagate that or who have this delusion rather than saying, hey, listen, you can, why, like,
But that's the
anyways,
same thing with the
coming back to
American
the,
right. That's the same thing with the American right. Not all of them are fucking racist. The way they draw the whole thing is
of
that
course,
Trump's
but the,
99%
my,
people who vote for Trump are racist.
but this, what my argument is, what makes Tim Pool cool and his people around him cool is that they still have this old school liberal mindset of like everybody can be whatever they want.
Yeah, but what is the agenda, man?
We
Like, what is it?
what's the
Personal aim क्या है? मतलब, do they want to
to
build a
change
media
culture? The
empire?
culture is fucked.
Yeah,
The
yeah, but
culture is
do they
fucked.
want to
Like
build
I
a
can be
media
a Muslim,
empire? Do they want a
bro.
studio
Everybody wants,
like Daily Wire?
everybody wants that. Of course, that's what they want. Like
Because
if
I
you're
saw his
competing with
interview with Russell
Netflix,
Brand a couple of months ago, I think, or 2 months ago. He did an interview with Russell Brand, and he was talking about that he got an offer from Daily Wire as well to join, and he told them to fuck off because what
of
Daily
course,
Wire told him is that we will own your intellectual property, we will
yeah.
own the shows that you run, and after 2 years, if you decide to move on, that's a minimum contract. I think after 2 years you move on, you get to take the audience with you because now people have been watching you on our
It's a
show.
business.
It's a
It's a
business, bro.
business.
It's a
Look,
business.
so Daily Wire caters to a certain kind of right? PBD is like complete gangster business,
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
that's
car
more of a business.
salesmen's,
Car
car
salesman.
salesman.
Bunch of fucking car salesman, bro. Insurance salesman.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But but
Yeah.
but sensible people, right? Like people like connect with them. You can when you go to the streets of US, you will see more people like PBD and the people who come on
Yeah.
PBD. Cool people, they're just living their life amazing. What Tim Pool's mindset is to create culture. So by culture is like bring the punk rock back. Take the punk rock has been taken over by these conformists. They think they're punk rock, but they aren't punk rock. Conformism. The punk rock has been captured by conformists. She's like, hey, fuck this shit. Punk rock was always non-conformist. We are punk rock. We don't, because we speak the truth, we will never get the limelight. So we have to create our own culture and make it more popular so people like to see more. So I think that Timpu, even though he's just being humble, in my opinion, what he's creating is pretty cool. I like whenever I go and I mean I stop watching them now because I'm like whatever. I get what the
Yeah,
idea is.
but that's what I think that in the West, I think the discourse has opened up so much thanks to people like Joe Rogan and Tim Pool and these guys. Even Russell Brand, bro. I love watching him actually. A lot of the stuff he says is really fucking out there, but the idea is that he talks about everything. Not He's not completely conspiracy. He doesn't just talk conspiracy. He will talk environment. He will talk conspiracy. He will talk about the UK, the US, and Europe in general. He gives a good perspective on Europe, especially, right? The news media. He's very critical of the
Because he's
way
from
the news is
fucking
run.
UK.
Of course, yeah, the way, but his angle is kind of unique when it comes to he not being a journalist. He is very critical and is very smart at outlining that how television is being run in the wrong way. He criticizes media itself very well with Joe Rogan. I
So
think
it will always
Alice
be
does it
like
as
this.
well. Yeah, yeah. That's his angle, right? And the other thing is this, right? He recently did an interview with the CEO of Rumble. It's on Rumble. You can watch it. It
He's
is
a
very
Canadian
insightful.
guy.
Yeah, it's very insightful. So that when there are multiple voices, yes, there might be still in a few thousand of them on these public platforms like YouTube, Twitter, who are saying these things.
Hmm.
Even Elon Musk, man, he's also said some things from time to time, but he's obviously not that. He doesn't have that command of English or that kind of knowledge to tackle things. I mean, he's smart, definitely. Don't get me wrong, but he is no Russell Brand or Joe Rogan or those like Tim Pool. They're not. He's not a journalist. What I've noticed is that with the Javed Akhtar thing, what I was trying to say is that when Javed Akhtar came to Pakistan, he got invited to this Urdu literature festival. वो वहाँ आया
Hmm.
and they had a Q&A session with him and there was a fucking packed room of people who came to watch him. He said that all the fucking terrorist activities that have been happening in India has been caused by your fucking country. He said that to the guy who was questioning. And he said it in front of packed people, bro. Now, the weird part was that people went in a shock. They could not fathom the idea कि हमने इस बंदे को बुलाया है and he's basically shitting on us. But the reality is that he's right. Like, it's like they had that moment where they went like, like, what is this guy saying? So people are still delusional. What I'm saying is that there are people in that society. You got to think about it, right? It's like going doing an English festival, and you call Salman Rushdie or one of some big fucking writer. Actually, you know, fuck Salman Rushdie. Imagine you got in someone like Stephen King or some great writer to come in who's a
Sure.
political writer or someone like one of those Christopher Hitchens, those kind of fuckers, right? You get them to come in, and then they come and they
Hmm.
criticize something in your society. Most people
Sure.
who attend those kind of these kind of what do you call events, their IQ level is not here. It's pretty high. You know what I mean? They understand. Okay, this
Sure.
guy, if he's saying something, why is he saying it, right? It's like Edward Snowden. A lot of people do not agree with what he did in the government, in the US government. But a lot of critics, I mean, a lot of journalists in The Guardian, in different newspapers, when they listen to him, they can understand where he's coming from. Especially when that Joe Rogan interview that he did with Ed Snowden. A lot of people are fucking, even, what's the guy's name? Joe, that actor, the actor who played Ed Snowden in the Oliver Stone movie. I watched his interview. The amount of like he actually spent a lot trying to understand that why Ed Snowden did, why he did it, what is the whole history behind it, what is our government doing that caused Ed Snowden to do it. Like for an actor, all he had to do was just rock up and fucking play the role, but he went beyond that, just trying to. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I think that's his name, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The thing is कि there is an effort being made in people who live in the Western country कि जब ये इस तरह का कोई डिस्कोर्स होता है तो लोग उसको समझने की कोशिश करते हैं हमारे ये जो countries हैं I'm not saying that people are dumb over there, they're not able to understand. They are on the inside, they know something, but they're towing the line because they are in a society which is very controlled. Maybe the platform is not as open as how it is here, but a lot of people in that auditorium were shocked to hear what he's saying, and everybody knows that what he's saying is right. That the reason why the relations आपके खराब है दूसरी country के साथ क्योंकि in your country the army or whoever he's blaming they have been doing it for years in our country there's all this terrorist activity happening and you guys are causing it he just said that and people the fucking
You guys, I don't think the normal people are causing it.
correct
Like,
yeah
so my argument, like, is that, Javed Akhtar is amazing, sure. But
no he's
is
blaming the
he
deep state he's
being
blaming the government he's not saying normal people
okay?
doing it yeah.
Okay.
No he didn't say
Because
that
I don't watch it, but I'm
no
assuming this
no
the
he
rhetoric
basically
the rhetoric needs to be
it's like it's like I come to your country and it's like I go to England and I say to people that you know what the Queen killed Princess Diana and people are like did you just say it no that can't be true no, it's not possible it's like you basically saying that the fucking it's like what Chris Tucker just said Chris Rock said I keep calling Chris Rock he said about the royal family he's like they are the OG they are the like the royal it's like Like he talks about the whole Meghan Markle thing, right? I mean, think about it. What he's saying, it's true.
Fucking
Like
bullshit.
they're the OGs, bro. They're the ones who started this shit, right? They're the ones who cultivated it. It's like going. It's like when you go to Britain and you tell people that what the royal family, the Windsor family, Queen's entire lineage, what they've been responsible for throughout the world. Okay, they made the Magna Carta and all that, but you need to accept both. You can't just own the good things and just leave all the bad things out. You got to own that as well. They're not owning that. People are in shock. Like, oh, we didn't
Yeah.
do that.
No, but the problem, I'll tell you something. The problem is these same people who cry racist would not even understand what Magna Carta is. They would not even
Correct.
care what Magna Carta, because they have to build these big houses that they don't actually own. The banks own them, and that's what they are. So I would say that fucking good for the racists to control
Hmm.
these idiots. I see. Here's the argument: if you're dumb, right?
You
If you're
deserve to be
dumb,
fucking, yeah, you deserve to be fucking taken advantage of.
the problem is because there are a lot of people who are dumb. Smart people get sweet with them and affected by them. I don't want to go and tell people what to do with their lives, right? But there are a lot of people who are dumb, and when they make decision, I have to play along with them, which is okay. But at certain level, it becomes a problem for everybody. So what we're gonna see in the next coming month is the fucking dumb people who do not understand concept of money, who made those decisions of handling money the way they handle, making life hard for the people who are smart. So apparently, with the bank run that's happening, it is covered. It's covered through FDIC. It's
Yeah.
a federal. It's a. Wait, I have this over here. So it's called FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporations.
Yeah, the central bank basically, the
So
central bank
it's a
basically
corp.
bails you out. Yeah.
No, so it's like an insurance company made. So every bank puts money, pays premiums to these insurance companies, and if any bank defaults, this insurance company would stop paying that bank. It's
Yeah.
like all
Yeah.
the banks pay to this insurance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so if you had money more than $250,000 in your account, you lost that money because FDIC only
Yeah.
insures $250,000.
Yeah. But my understanding is that
So
the central bank will cover all of it,
no,
not just
let
the
me
two fifty
finish,
thousand.
dude. Let me finish. So my point is, there are certain people who kept millions of dollars in the bank with one bank, okay, not knowing how the banking system works, and they're millionaires. Like there's a company, Ruko. It's like
Yeah. 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 They're in
the Ruko
televisions and
is
all
like
that.
a
Yeah. All the
yeah
apps,
video
Netflix, वगैरह सारा
stream
कुछ है.
players.
Yeah.
They had
Stream. Yeah.
$450 million in that bank.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And you know how much money they're gonna get back?
250,000.
250,000. There's a what do you say, basketball player. I don't know, his name is Giannis. Let me see.
Giannis,
His
yeah,
name
he plays
is,
for Celtics.
yeah, I don't
No,
follow.
Philadelphia or
But
Celtics? Yes, Philadelphia. Yeah, they
so
got it.
so his managers
Giannis
are smart.
Giannopoulos
So
or something. Yeah.
you know what they did? So what they did is opened accounts in 50 different banks and only kept $250,000 in each.
His, his, because they know
Now
the
that's
law.
a smart person.
Yeah, they know
They're
the law.
smart,
Yeah, they know they
right?
know how it
But
works. Yeah.
who's gonna insure the insurance companies if shit hits the fan?
Yeah.
What how will your insurance pay you when they don't have money
That's
to
why we
pay you?
need. That's why we need Bitcoin, brother. That's it. Whether we like it or
Now,
not, it's all going there.
no. It's not going there. the problem again with the crypto bros, fucking idiots, sorry to say, are extremely idiotic. They do not understand. I call them cuck culture. The cuck culture is that when you know that convenience, like, oh, you're gonna beat the system by making another system that's similar to the system that you just built. Actually,
Yeah.
it's worse because it's all electronic and there's nothing there, there's nothing tangible there. You're telling me that that makes sense? It's another stupidity. It's like you're telling me the central banks makes money out of thin air, and then there's this another system, crypto, right? We do not know how this crypto was made. We know that it was made by some guy, Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knows who is this. It's like this Shakespeare of money, of crypto, right? Like nobody really knows if Shakespeare existed. He might be an amalgamation of like a lot of thinkers back in the time who created the English language and control of it through drama. So you're telling me that there's this computer program that you will use electricity for, and that computer program has 21 million coins, and after minting all these coins using these complex programs, the programs perpetually becomes harder to compute, to mine coins, so that we have a limited amount of coins. It's worse, in my opinion, than any Ponzi scheme. Because there's limited amount of coins, and you believe in that. And then what happens is that, okay, this is Bitcoin, then you can make any kind of coins, which is okay. I don't care. I'm keeping shit real. What happens if there's no grid? How are you gonna do it? How will I believe you? Like how will we transact if there's no internet? So you need to diversify. You need to understand that real money is
No,
gold.
you can diversify. Nobody should be putting 100% into any. Let's say just let's to make it simple. Let's
I'm
just say
I'm
Bitcoin.
I'm
Okay,
I'm I'm
you
a,
don't want
I'm
to
a
put 100%
financial
in Bitcoin.
atheist. No, hold on.
Yeah.
I am I'm a financial atheist, which means that I do not believe in any of this, right? But what I do believe is in real things, in reality. I mean,
Yeah. Look, if there
this
is
is
no
a real
grid,
thing.
okay. If there is no grid, think about okay. Like in
Hmm.
today's okay. Let's just look at it from this point. Now let's just say there's only one coin. Yes, there's thousands of fucking shit coins out there, but let's say there's one shit coin, Bitcoin. Okay. Now nobody is saying that you should put 100% of your entire net worth in that coin. The idea is if the world goes to shit, you need less than one Bitcoin. If the world goes to shit and the grid is still on, you need less than one Bitcoin. You don't one Bitcoin means that if 100 years from now, if the grid is still on and there is one Bitcoin, that one Bitcoin can buy you a fucking castle in 100 years from today. Reason being is there's one. You know how many millionaires are there in the world today? There are, I
Yeah,
think,
but listen, if I'm
35.
but
Yeah, there are 35
but
millionaires in the
if I'm
world. Yeah,
if there's no grid and I'm a warlord, I
of
say
course.
fuck your
Yeah, yeah,
Bitcoin.
yeah, yeah,
Take I need my coin. So
yeah,
you
yeah.
go sell your shitty Bitcoin because I've got all the guns and I've got all the resources. So
Of
if you
course, man.
want
Look,
fucking whatever I'm selling,
if if in the future
it's
there
stupid.
is no grid, if there is no grid in the future, yes, gold and silver, all these, whatever the currency will be of that time, will be physical. But thing is, even then, you should not be putting all your money just to buy gold bars and silver bars, because you don't need that much to survive in the future. If shit hits the fan, you're not gonna carry around 100 kilos of gold or 10 kilos of gold. You just need one bar to fucking for you and your family to get the
No,
fuck out of here and get
no,
somewhere. You know what I mean?
dude. If you have a lot
Because
of
if you
gold,
own
then
all
you
the
need to
gold,
have a
if
lot
you
of
own all the gold, then nobody's there to trade from. The
No,
idea distribution
no,
should
no,
be
no,
there.
no, no.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Here's where you're wrong. If you have all that gold, you need to have a ratio of amount of guns, hired hands, and bullets to save yourself from all
Yeah, but
those
yeah,
fuck.
but how
It's like,
much
oh,
you need to save yourself?
you're
Okay,
thinking,
let's just
you're still
calculate.
thinking like a cuck.
No,
Think,
no, no.
hear me. You're saying that if you have gold, you will be safe. No, no. If you have gold, it will be safe enough for you to survive. But if you have a lot of gold, the only way you can survive is you need to have a lot of guns, a lot of bullets, and a lot of
Correct,
people under your payroll
correct, to
that
protect
you,
you.
and then
So that
you
you get
need,
shot, bro. They will
and
take it from you
not
otherwise.
only
Yeah.
that, you need a huge family because the people you're paying might fucking kill you and take all the gold.
Correct.
So
That's what I'm
is
saying. That's what I'm saying. So the idea is that in reality, if the world goes to shit, being rich is going to be a problem. You just need enough money to get your family across the border or across into whatever. Like,
yeah,
let's say
where
if you're in
go to
Nazi
India,
Germany, yeah,
go to
wherever.
Pakistan, where there
If
are
you're
other warlords, they will come and say,
if
hey,
you
hey,
are
hey,
if you're in a
woman,
place,
is this your land?
no, 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 but there will be
Is this
someone.
your land?
Yeah, but there will be
Oh, no,
always
it's not your
someone.
land. This is my land.
Yeah, I know. But there are people in the future, if there is someone who's willing to take your gold or take your wealth and kill you, there'll be equally someone be there to help you out because you got that gold and they want you to bring that to their land because it'll help them out, it'll help their country out. Like El Salvador right now is telling everybody that whoever has Bitcoin wants to come, fucking come. Come here and live here, right? Like Dubai, right? They don't want to tax all the millionaires. They want the millionaires to come there, take that money that they have and spend it there so that their economy is circulating. So I think that this whole idea of buying 100% gold or 100%,
I'm not saying buy
capital,
100% gold.
or these people
It's
who
the
only want to buy
delusion. No,
land.
no, hold
Yeah.
on. The delusion that crypto bros have is that that's the way out is stupid.
No, no, it's just stupid, bro.
That's
It is
my
stupid. It's
so
definitely
so
stupid.
so
Yeah.
I'm not arguing. Like I just gave you an example of how if you only have gold and everybody wants gold, what happens? Like you can't just have a lot of gold and think that shit's gonna be easy. Because if
Yeah.
everybody wants gold and that's the
And
way
you're
to get
fucked.
shit,
That's why
that's
you
the
need
way
to
to get
diversify. Yeah.
that's the way you get the whores and the fucking alcohol and all the shit that you want. The bad people
Yeah.
or the crystal meth you want
Yeah.
is because you're not educated enough to make your own crystal meth. So you have to buy it from the market, and the only way you can
It's
do is
like
steal other
you know
people's
Mark
gold.
Cuban.
So
Mark Cuban. Yeah.
I agree with you, but the problem, my conversation was, I'm not. See, this is the
Crypto bros,
problem.
bro. Don't worry
Is
about
when
crypto bros. They're not being
if
realistic.
I'm talking, no, let me finish. The problem is you're stopping me in my groove right now. Wait, hold on. So the problem is that when I say gold, because your people's mindset is to believe in one, it's a monotheistic belief. So if it's just one thing, then that's the thing.
Hmm.
I'm a polyistic when it comes to financial things.
Wealth.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, hey, look at this critically. Who's got the guns right now?
What do you mean?
The
Like
the
government?
fiat
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
The,
State
the
people have
legal
guns.
tender,
Yeah. Yeah.
the legal tender is fucking
US
whatever the
dollar.
country you live in. So
Yeah.
you need to have a little bit of that. Make sure that a little bit of that is in the bank, which is kind of insured. Don't put more than 250 in one bank. Put 250 here, 250 there, 250 there. Keep 500 somewhere else, which is physically you can access it. It's not with anybody, right?
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
not with a bank which basically owns that. Like if you put deposit money into a bank, they technically own it. They can do whatever the
Yeah.
hell they want. You need to give it to somebody who manages your cash, and then you need to have a little bit of crypto, right? And then
Yeah.
you need to have a little bit of gold and silver. Uh, in a society where there is no government, Uh, there will be crypto, but not most people who would make food for you, especially in North America. They don't want fucking crypto.
Yeah.
They want gold and silver. The
Mm.
people who are making food, the basic necessities of life, they want gold and silver. They don't want crypto.
Yeah.
So you
So
need,
I personally believe that crypto would be the, and you know Mark Cuban?
I know,
Yeah. So Mark Cuban, right? I think watched one of his clips, and in that one he said that you want to diversify, but you don't want to die. Diversification, die. Like too much diversification is not good either. So you need to hedge your bets, you might call it, or whatever you want to call it.
mm,
Top three, top five things. That's it. Like I have a few friends, man. They put all their fucking money in property. That's fucking
yeah.
stupid. Tomorrow the government
No.
can come and take it all away from you, right?
But the government can come
And
take away anything.
correct, they can come and take away anything. But I think that's
Oh,
what the
well,
point I'm trying to make about any. If you have, I don't believe in any other crypto apart from Bitcoin. But let's say for me, I think in the future,
Bitcoin is the most stupidest crypto out there, but sure.
Bitcoin, I think, will be the currency that allow you to get out of things, out of lands. So if you are in a country and you want to fucking just have a blanket around you, a USB stick, and get the fuck out, you take that USB stick up your fucking ass, you shove it up
No.
your ass, and then you get out.
That USB stick can be
Yeah.
easily found through a metal detector. What the
Okay,
fuck you talking about?
but yeah, but you can remember the passcode. If you just remember it's in your brain, they have to kill you to fucking get it. If you remember the
Sure.
passphrase, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, if you're too dumb, you can't memorize a fucking passphrase, then yeah, you'll have to carry a USB stick. But the idea is that if you and your family wanna get out, you're in this Nazi Germany fucking kind of situation, you wanna get the fuck out, then that's the only thing. Because if you had any other metals, any other tender, they will search you. I think
Sure.
that's an issue. So again,
Yeah.
having 100% of everything is not gonna fix it.
Yeah, but
100% of
see,
anything
my,
is not gonna
my
help you.
problem with that argument is you are already thinking you're worse. You're black pilled more than the preppers right now.
Well, it is
You,
it is mentally,
the
you gotta say everybody is a prepper. No. Everybody is a prepper. They just don't know it.
I know, I
Everybody
agree.
mentally people are prepping. If you think about it, I'll tell you how. There are people in pandemic, they went and bought all that pasta. I don't know whether it happened in America or not. I'll tell you what happened in Australia. In Australia, it became a fucking meme. Two things that were always, every time they announced a lockdown, we have the most amount of experience when it comes to lockdowns, right? Let's accept it, right? Every time we went
Okay.
into a lockdown in our supermarkets, in the supermarket chains, two shelves will always go empty: pasta and toilet paper. Across the board, across the country, toilet paper was always empty. But depending on which ghetto is where, the kind of shelf will become empty. You see, so
Also,
if it is
white
mostly
people go to
Asian,
brown people,
if it's
brown
Asian,
town.
if it's an Asian area, then it'll be fucking rice. It's all gone. If it's an Italian, Greek area, whatever, fucking all
The
the
pasta is gone.
pasta is gone. So, thing is that people are prepping. The prepping behavior is there, but when they look at someone who's buying a bunker, they go like, "Oh, look at you, you're a fucking prepper." But in reality, they're also prepping. Everybody's prepping at certain level.
Yeah, you just
Some
don't
people
have
are
the money
prepping
to
for
do it.
retirement. Some people, yeah, they're not admitting this. Some people are prepping for retirement. They're buying their seventh house or eighth house, thinking that when I retire at the age of 55 or whatever, they're gonna retire 5 years early or whatever. This whole idea of tourism, traveling, early retirement, and a lot
Mm,
of other things that are not coming to my mind. But these two things, I was telling my wife the other day. No, I think one of my uncles. I was having an argument with him over the phone, war of words. He's a baby boomer. So he's
mm-hmm.
the kind of person who wants inflation. And I asked him, like,
Wow.
Uncle, why do you want inflation? He was like, well, inflation is good because my
My
property price
property,
will
man.
go up. So
Dumb.
I want a little bit of inflation to happen. I said, well, that's destroying the future of your kids. And he was like, no, it's not, because I will leave this thing to them in the future.
Mm.
I said, then if you're going to leave it to them, what the fuck are you going to eat now? It's like, who's going to pay for you? Like, it's like just the mindset. The baby boomers have literally destroyed our fucking
It's
future.
not
They
just the
voted
baby
these
boomers.
cunts.
It's not just the baby boomers. It's a
Who else?
mindset across the board. It's baby boomers. is the Gen X and millennials who make money. So they sell the
Yeah, yeah,
idea that you need to take care of
yeah.
everything. The government needs to take care of everything as long as it's not my shit.
Yeah, but I
You,
think with
yeah,
baby boomers, they are not the handout generation. The millennial generation is the handout generation, or it's
because they
becoming one.
had no options, dude. Like
Correct.
you,
Baby boomers
they,
just want inflation so that they can have fucking the seventh or eighth property they want to buy.
bro, it's a ego thing, right? Like
Yeah.
people will never see their own shortcomings. They will never go and say, "Hey, look at me. Maybe I'm doing this wrong." The
True.
millennials will never see, "Hey, listen, I'm taking all this handout," right? Uh, the baby boomers will not see, "Oh, we are the ones putting the millennials in a situation where they have no other options to
But
take
to
a
ask for a
handout."
handout.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at these snowflakes.
Oh, in my time, we used to go out and work hard. We used to do two jobs, work on the weekend, and we made our money
You know
regularly.
what's the problem? It's
Yeah.
fucking hypocrisy across the
Yeah.
board. It's across the board. It's the same conversation. When I say gold, the first thing people think is, oh, gold is not the way. Hey, listen, hear me out. Let me finish my conversation. I'm a fucking financial atheist, a financial polytheist. You know, I don't give a fuck. Tomorrow, one thing is gonna be up, the other thing is gonna be down. We live in a very, a yin yang society. Shit needs to balance itself out. This is your
Mm.
forces of nature is this. You know, if you want to go meta, if you want to go deep, things need to balance out. When there are a lot of people with a lot of debt, shit will hit the fan, and the people with no debt who don't have shit but they have a lot of cash or they prep, they're gonna buy shit and it
Mhm.
will balance out. And then
Especially during recessions. Yeah.
when these people become in power, they'll bring their bullshit and they will be the ones. So I'm already predicting, hey, in 20 years, what's gonna happen?
No US dollar,
No,
you think?
not that.
No US
No,
dollar.
I'm not talking about that. See,
Okay.
the
I was
dollar
thinking you're
is
gonna
just
go.
the
Yeah.
dollar and all these things are just whatever. It's just a mode of, you know, energy transfer. The real thing is all these people have property. They're holding on to that property thinking that it has a lot of value because the people who don't have that money can't afford it, and the people who have the money are willing to take so much debt that they don't give a fuck about the amount of debt. So they know there's a, you know, but the
Mm.
main thing is the property, is the life, the lifestyle. Lifestyle is the main thing. People want to live a lifestyle. Most millennials can't afford that lifestyle. And baby boomers are sitting on that because they're not dying for, you know, like this.
Yeah.
I
Another
don't
20
want
years.
people. I don't care. Like, I honestly don't care if people, like, I want people to live as long as possible. The same millennials who have the same mindset like the baby boomers want fucking, they're saying, hey, these fucking baby boomers are not dying. It's the mindset. It's the mindset. But nobody is thinking about how can we make. That's why I like Elon Musk, right? He's like, I don't want to play these people's games. I'm gonna make my own game. I'm gonna go out of this. You know, nobody's doing rockets. I'll do rockets. Nobody's doing electric cars. I'll do electric cars. You know, this entrepreneurial mindset is there, but he had a lot of experience. He had a lot of he was already in a good spot to do that. So he's doing it. So that's why he bought Twitter. The moment he bought Twitter, okay, first thing, the moment he created Cybertruck, I was in. I was like, I like this guy already. I wasn't sure. I'm still not sure with his Neuralink and whatever. When he made Cybertruck, I was like, fuck, I want a Cybertruck. I would never buy an electric car. I'll buy a Cybertruck. It looks fucking cool. He's not putting a gun to my head and saying, "Hey, you gotta buy an electric car." He's like, "Hey, look at this toy I have. Oh, it's nice. It looks post-apocalyptic and yeah, it's so sci-fi and the metal. It doesn't have like you don't have to worry about its dings
The
and dangs
zombie
because
apocalypse, yeah.
it doesn't." And I'm like, yeah, that's the truck I want because I don't want to fucking worry about how my truck looks and what it does. It have a clear code and it's clean. I want a truck that's a truck. It looks cool the way it is. Fuck, I love this. I'm buying that. The moment he bought Twitter, I was like, fuck.
Mm.
Okay, I like this guy. He's spending $44 billion to disclose the fucking bullshit that went on for years now. This is
Within
pre-pandemic.
Twitter,
They've been
yeah, yeah. And you can
right
imagine
that.
what is going on other platforms.
So,
अगर वो यहाँ
so,
ये हो रहा है तो बाकी सब पे
so
क्या
he
होगा?
spent. So now that's a smart business move. So what
So
I'm
within
explaining.
next 20 years, what are you thinking is going to happen to these platforms
So in next
like
20
Twitter,
years,
Facebook, and all?
next 20 years, Gen X would be sitting on houses, properties.
Yeah, but they'll be split because these houses. I mean, what are you saying when you mean Gen X is going to be sitting on houses?
So right now, baby boomers are sitting on the houses, on property, right?
Mm.
Then their children will have it, their millennials will have it a little bit, and then the Gen X who worked hard and bullshitted into higher level of income or whatever, they will be owning a lot of properties and a lot of shit. So we have to go through Gen X people's bullshit in the future, like we are going through the baby boomers right now.
Mm.
So by the time Gen X
But what will be
becomes
the bullshit of Gen X?
the bullshit of Gen X can be, I don't know, maybe there's this new fucking discovery in gene therapy that you can live longer.
Mm.
The Gen Zs and the Gen As will get fucked by that. But no, like
Mm.
my problem is lazy fucking investments. Lazy investments mean if you have a lot of cash, like if I have a lot of cash, right? I have a safe lifestyle. I have my house paid. I have a lot of shit. I want to do something new. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. If you're doing the same shit everybody else is doing, then it loses value, right? But when you're doing it with real estate, you're making the society degenerate. You're making your society fucked up because you're sitting on the same shit like, oh, if you want to buy this house is worth $200,000 normally, but now you have to pay 1.4 million for it. Ha 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 ha! Look at me, I'm so smart. No, you're not smart.
Mm.
You're a fucking
Yeah,
dumb, lazy
lazy investor.
entrepreneur
Yeah,
who got
setting
a
up a
lot
ghetto.
of free money because you couldn't start a business because a business loan would be based on your business plan, and the loan interest rate would have been 10% plus. So it was a very risky business. You don't want to take a chance. So what you did was took a lot of loan at 1% and just bought a property.
Mm.
And what you're doing is just making life hard for the younger generation that you are not related to. So the people who call for socialism are the people who are making the world a shittier place. That's how I
Mm.
see it. If you were a true capitalist, you'll be like, hey, I think a lot of people want houses. It doesn't make sense that we should buy single family homes because people want to raise families. What we are doing is we are creating unnecessary competition in family homes, and that's making younger people not get married, have children, and because that's not happening, the society is becoming more degenerate. those people don't care. As long as their family is happy, they don't care what's happening. Go buy a commercial property. Go do some risky shit with the free money you are getting. Everybody wants to get rich with less effort and quickly. So flipping houses was the quickest way to do it
Yeah.
because they had the cash. So because I have lived through a lot of real estate booms. I I have seen this at a smaller level in Dubai. So when I see this at a bigger level in North America, I go, man, these people are fucking idiots. They're no different than any fucking dumb investor in Dubai who just bought all these houses expecting, oh, we'll make a lot of rent, right? Not knowing that, okay, oh shit, the people who work here in Dubai can't make enough money to pay for all this rent because my income now is the same as if I would have invested in UK or US because people can't afford to pay for that. The economy cannot support it. The people who would rent this condo in Dubai, which I bought for $1 million or 1 million dirhams, let's say, is now I cannot rent it for I was easily renting it for 150 when there was a shortage. As soon as the shortage went away, I'm renting it for 50.
Yeah.
So I'm still making 5%, and then I have to pay the maintenance fee. Then it's like 3%. It doesn't make sense to have
Yeah.
that house now. So this stupid mentality, people
Yeah.
don't see
Yeah. But
that.
in
That's my
Australia, in Australia, they've done a bit kind of the opposite as to what is happening in Dubai, in the sense that they have controlled the zoning is a big issue in Australia. We have the biggest fucking block of land that you can think of where we can easily build millions of fucking houses. But they have all these zoning issues, council
it's all
issues,
bullshit.
planning issues. They purposely have reduced or restricted the supply of housing so that fucking house price can stay up right there.
On on
That's what
on
they're doing.
on the basis of environment, climate change. So, uh, yeah, I mean,
They're not
it's
building
it,
houses
it,
fast enough. And the other thing is that they don't let enough immigrants into the construction section. The construction area, they have hundreds of fucking, they have unions in there, they have lots of things going on. And because of that, not my neighbor, he's in construction and he is 60 plus. He told me there is a shortage in every section of construction. Carpenter, concreter, bricklayer, fucking you name it, bro. Everything. So now they're not letting people in to come and work, and when they do let people in, they're only people who can work in IT or doctors and all those kind of fuckers, right? Nurses and all that, which we need, by the way. But when they come in, they get flushed with cash. Plus, they have this aspiration because they come from back there. They need to own a fucking house, get in the race, mate, get my fucking Range Rover, get my bar, built into the fucking house, get a fucking swimming pool in the back of the house, get a fucking two dogs, get the missus another Audi with big fucking glasses, So get the kids into private school, and then dad gets them to build that big fucking house. When they build that big fucking house, they take a huge amount of debt and there's not enough supply of houses there, not enough stock, and then houses prices shoots up because these guys come in and they drive the prices up. Plus, there's not enough houses being built. Plus, there's all this regulation on top, dude. It's a perfect con game. It's like we sell houses to each other. That's all it is. That's how everybody makes money. And the thing is, the ones who suffer are pensioners
yep,
who never in their life got to their second, third, or fourth house. They only had one house. They had a divorce, or some kid had a big, huge accident. Or they had a business. They lost money for whatever reason.
right,
Pensioners and second, single mothers. They're
yeah.
getting fucked, bro. They're getting fucked. The rental, some think tank did a report on, who are doing it the
Hey,
toughest.
how would they bring degeneracy in the society? That's how they
Yeah,
will.
So I mean,
So
it's just a
yeah,
shitty way to get rich. Like you kind of it's like people, I'm not sure whether people realize it or not, they're getting rich off other people's loss.
It's
That's the
not
only way
rich.
they're able to create wealth. It's not
It's
rich.
it's it's rich in your mind. The
Degeneracy as well,
more
bro.
the moment the value of dollars becomes higher
Yeah,
with higher interest rates,
yeah.
these things will have no value. It's the balance. It's the balance. As long as, so my argument is the people who suffer most are the people who are the millennials, so the millennials, Gen Zs, Gen As, and the pensioners. Because
So
the
Gen X is
pensioners
after
after
millennial or before? After millennials, right?
before millennial,
Sorry. So yeah, baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, and then what? Gen Z.
Gen Z, and then Gen As. Gen As are your 20s. So think about this. Right now, the pensioner who was getting saved all that pension, then the pension is valueless. So what they're doing now is whatever house they already have, they're taking
They're eating
HP,
out of
was
that.
it
Yeah, yeah.
home equity loans on the house to survive. So they're getting on loans. The millennials and the
On the
Gen
credit
Zs
card. They're on credit
are their
cards.
own credit card.
Yeah, and I think the Z, no, the millennials are on credit card. The Gen Z is on lay-by. What's that shit? Like afterpay. They have
The
afterpay here,
cash.
Zip Pay here. That yeah, you buy something and then you have an app on your phone. It allows you
Yeah.
to pay it off in like 6 installments or whatever, some shit like that.
So
It's another
obviously
form
those
of
guys will
credit
go
card.
towards. Obviously those guys will go towards communism
Yeah, yeah.
because that's the option because they don't see it. So yeah,
The what are your thoughts on? Okay, no, I know
think
it sounds like a very weird way to think, but if you think about it, right, um, someone is going to inherit. Like I went to see my accountant, and he goes to me that, bro, he's a Bangladeshi, and he's done well for himself, and he goes to me that what are you doing is creating all this wealth for yourself. That's fine, but have you thought about what are you going to do with this money once you have it? I was like, what do you mean I'm going to do this? Whatever money I have left, boy, I use a little bit, and the rest goes to my kid, my future family. That's how it's always been in our culture. I mean, most cultures. He was like, well, right, that most of this generation that is trying to create all this wealth, they work so hard to create this wealth in whatever which way. I'm not judging them. They will take this money, give it to the future generation, which is gonna just spend it and fuck it up anyway, right? You know that. I was like, no, that's not a guarantee. He was like, well, that is guaranteed because they never will have to. They will inherit all that money, and only a few of them will actually be of the realization that we need to value this money. Most of them are gonna fucking spend it. So if you look at Gen Z or Gen X, who's going to inherit all of this, whichever generation, it's kind of a bit of a hit and miss. It's kind of a lottery system. It's kind of like
okay.
you throwing a dart around that red circle. There's two or three generations. It might hit one of them. It could be a Gen X, could skip an entire millennial and go straight to Gen Z, or millennial. But I have a feeling that Gen Z will be the most irresponsible when it comes to the money, and they will
I would
lose it to the
argue no,
millennials. Do you think they will lose it to a generation behind?
no.
Because that
I
generation will be older, right?
the pro See the problem is these different what we are losing in our reality is people are disconnected with different generations because
Mm.
there's no society, there's no level of social interaction between different generations, right? So, I do not want respect from Gen Zs or Gen As if, I don't meet them, right? Because I'm
Okay.
too cool, because I'm a millennial. But if you go and see what Gen Zs and Gen As are thinking, they are smarter, way smarter. They understand what the fuck's going on. They understand if they have a good upbringing, they have a good base,
But they're
they
very tight
know
as
what
well.
it,
I've noticed most of these kids are like they're nice people,
the,
but they They don't spend on anybody. They're very what do you call?
If they don't have money
They're
to
not that
spend, what the
charitable.
fuck are they gonna spend
They're
it?
not that
Like,
charitable.
no, hold on. If they do anything, they are living paycheck to paycheck. How the fuck will they spend on anybody? They can't spend on themselves. They need to get an iPhone.
Yeah, but they're living in their
They need,
millennium. They're living in their baby boomer parents' house, right? I mean, how much more money do they need?
bro, I know fucking Gen X is living in their parents' homes. It's
Yeah,
not,
but so they
it's
yeah, but they're saving all that
millennials living in
money.
it.
Most people who end up buying houses in Australia, they usually live with their parents. They save that money for their deposit because they don't have to pay rent. And then 5, 6 years down the line, they have enough money saved, and then they go buy a fucking
Yeah, but it's a
another
perpetual
property.
bullshit. It doesn't change shit. It doesn't change it. Just because your parents have a house and you can live in it doesn't mean that everybody has that. So Gen A's and Gen Z is aware of it. They want to have families. They want to have a relationship. They are seeing this. There's a lot of Sigma kids that are coming out. That's why people like Andrew Tate were being so popular. Who made him popular? Do you think fucking boomers were watching? Or Gen X
Mm.
were watching? Who was watching that? What made Andrew Tate so much popular? It wasn't it wasn't your fucking millennial hipsters. It wasn't your fucking Gen Xers. No. It was the Gen Zs and the Gen A's. They like
Yeah,
Andrew
but
Tate
but
because
but what Andrew Tate has been saying is actually nothing
Mhm.
new. Before that, Alex
No, it's
Jones and
not
all
new.
these other guys were talking
It's
about it.
not
Joe
new.
Rogan's been.
But there's
Yeah, but what made
no
him famous though? Then what made him popular though?
you're deflecting to the different argument. I'm saying the people, the younger generation were watching Andrew Tate.
Oh, you're talking
That's
about
why
the
he
younger
became
generation.
so.
Okay.
That you're going in a different like fuck that. I'm saying the younger generation were interested in watching. They made Andrew Tate popular because
Yeah,
when
but
they
think
saw
about it, right?
him,
How can they be so smart if they listen to Andrew Tate and they want to be, dude? The only reason they start following Andrew
it's the
Tate because he's
dream, dude.
successful.
It's the
He's
dream. It's
successful.
the
He's
dream. No,
successful.
it's the dream. He is saying something that they believe in. Their own
Yeah, but he's rich as well,
elders.
bro. He's driving Lamborghinis and Bugattis
Oh
in
my
fucking
God.
Dubai,
You're
man.
you're fucking going down a stupid argument level. Dude, I don't give a fuck what he's doing. I'm saying that there are a lot of people who have Lamborghinis, okay? And Porsches and stuff. People don't watch those guys. These younger generation were watching Andrew Tate because they kind of, see, oh, this is what we want. We want to be men. We want to be powerful. We want to have power. We want to fight. We want to be strong. And everybody agrees with that. Everybody from fucking smart boomers, smart Gen X, smart millennials, they fucking agree with it. They do not agree with all the other bullshit, the misogynist bullshit. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying that he's right in that. But that's the thing, people like. I can say a lot of things today, which
Yeah, but do you
might be
think?
wrong,
Okay, okay. Question. No,
but there
question
might be
for you.
certain
No, no.
things.
Okay. No, but do you think? Question for you. If you take away all the misogyny and all that thing that was part of his personality, you think he would have been that famous? No, bro. That was the main one of the main attractions to what made him unique. If you take all of that stuff away and he was
No, can I
sanitized,
say something? Can
a
I say
sanitized
something?
version of Andrew Tate would not have taken off.
Can I say something? N- The fact he was saying that made people listen to him because he didn't give a fuck. People like that attitude. It was like, hey, this is how I think, but I think also these things. Oh man, this
Mm,
guy's got the balls. I like him. I don't agree with him on this part,
mm.
but the fact that he's taking the chance, we like him. So this stupid notion that, oh, because he's a misogynist, I don't like him. Okay, don't like him. I don't give a fuck. I don't like his misogynist shit. I don't agree with it at all. What I agree with is the fact that he can say whatever the fuck he wants. That's what I agree with. So this is my opinion. So the reason I'm saying that is there are a lot of idols that people can follow, your musicians, your actors, your businessmen,
Kanye's, yeah,
Oh, people,
the
Kanye
Beyonces
is
and the
Kanye.
Kanye's, yeah.
Kanye is another guy like Andrew Tate. So they can follow all those people too, but they chose to follow Andrew Tate, which shows me that the Gen Zs and the Gen As around the globe agree they're more into the Sigma mindset. Like they're more nonchalant, like, hey, stoic. They're more stoic. And we are led to believe that no, there's a lot of people, and I'm not saying that maybe it might be half and half. So half might be more like the communist type, but I don't believe that all Gen A's and Gen Z's are communists. I think
No,
it's going to get interesting.
like any generation, there will be a mix. There will always be a mix. You'll never have one generation that is completely
Which
conservative or
which
socialist.
shouldn't happen. We need to find a single solution. My point is, let them have kids, let them have a family, let them see what the fuck, live life fully. And if somebody doesn't want to have it, great. Don't impose that shit to other people. That's all. If you don't want to, hey, listen,
Yeah,
nobody's taking you to a fucking, like, oh, it's not a fucking Indian family saying, no, beta,
yeah, yeah.
why are you not married?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's saying that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but, when they look at married people, they say, hey, wow, that's a cool life. We want to do that. So a lot of married people are fucking cucks, and nobody want to speak up. Me included. So I'm not gonna defend myself.
No, my recently people that I work with at my day job,
Hmm.
they came over to my house for dinner, and we were talking about the LGBTQ stuff that's going on, the greenwashing, and a lot of bullshit basically that is going on. And we were talking about the special selective outrage that Chris Rock was
Yes.
on, and we're not talking about the special. We're talking about the things that he was talking about, right? And my one of my colleagues, he turned to me and he said to me, what you're saying makes sense, but if you say this kind of shit at work, they'll fire you, right? So you gotta toe the line. That's what he told me. And recently we are having the whole International Women Day and all that stuff going on, which is fine. You want to do it. But what about all the men, bro?
I respect women.
What about all the yeah? What about all the men? Like I don't see you fucking celebrating men. You know, dude. Like the idea is that if you're gonna talk about okay, let's have 50% women. Why is it only in places of power?
No.
Why? I mean, there are. I mean, it's the same Jordan Peterson argument. I think I don't have to say anything further than that. But thing is that you're celebrating women. Okay, celebrate women, but how about you also celebrate men? Because for as much as the evolution of
I
women has
don't want
happened in the
celebration.
workplace,
As a man, I'll tell you
no,
something.
if you, no, no,
I,
if you're
I,
gonna
I
give
understand what
something,
you're saying.
no, I'm talking about work. If at work you're gonna highlight women, highlight men as well. Either don't do, if you're gonna do it properly. Do it for every gender. Don't do it for just one gender type. You know. But anyway, they're gonna have a problem of their own. Dude. Right now, International Women's Day, the way they're doing it is just women. In 2 3 years,
No,
the
it's
same
it's
big companies.
no, it's not just women.
No, no, no. At our company, the place where,
Oh yeah.
dude, I'm talking about Australia. In Australia, generally, all the big companies, not just Hershey's, but all the big companies, right? They at the moment just entered that phase where they're just doing International Women's Day. No, no. Once a few years pass, you see, it's gonna backfire. They're gonna have this issue where on stage they'll
I
have to
know
have
it's
trans
already
women.
backfiring here.
It's
There are a
already
lot of
backfiring with
women,
Hershey. Yeah.
a
Who are
lot of
not
women
happy
are
with
like,
this whole thing. Yeah. Why they're
it's like, hey,
hijacking our thing. Yeah. You're
it's
not a woman.
like
You're not
I
getting
know a
pregnant.
lot of,
You're not getting
I
pregnant. I'm
no,
getting
I hear
pregnant.
you.
Yeah.
A lot of women are like, so Women's Day is a biological man. We are
Yeah.
supporting that now. So
Yeah.
I think, see, again, the balance will come. We have been in delusion for the past since 2009, since the bailout, and that delusion is about to break, which is going to be very interesting. I would say if you have more than $250,000 or whatever your country, whatever insurance companies that insure your banks in your country uh, has a value for, your deposits, do. So if you have if your country says only 100,000 is insurable, only put 100,000 in the bank. Take the rest out to some other bank. And the banks are over because most of the countries have now more than five, six banks, and you have more than $600,000 or 1.2 million. You should take that money out and keep it somewhere safe as well. Just be careful. It's a public service announcement. Be careful, guys. Shit's about to hit the fan. And to avoid shit about to hit the fan, good people need to have money so that the good
Mm.
people can take over and solve a little bit of problems in their communities if anything arises.
Mm.
Because at that moment, your dollar is going to be more valuable than anything you did in your life. When
Yeah,
you are in your neighborhood, when shit's hitting the fan, and you have to build fucking barrages to avoid fucking gangbangers to come in, or you have to pay security companies to fucking get people to fucking uh, secure your neighborhood's borders, and you are the one putting those dollars down to save it, your community will respect you more. So if you have that kind of cash, do that kind of stuff. So, I mean, there's so many different ways to use your cash, make your cash more valuable. But if you don't have cash left, because all the cash has been taken away by these banks, or because they were uh, before the bank run actually happens, boy, then you are no different.
time to
You will
put
be
some
in the
money
same.
under the mattress, bro. No, another
I
thing,
know.
another thing is also about the currency itself. The last currency, when the collapse begins, like if the world is coming to an end,
It's not gonna come
the
to an end.
last,
No.
yeah, in sense that we have another world war, for example, or a semi world war, which is basically the Taiwan area or whatever, if it expands, which I don't know if it's gonna be. But let's just say that if the world is coming to an end, not because of war, because of some other bullshit disaster, or whatever, the dollar, I mean, most of the theories that I'm hearing is the dollar is the last thing to collapse because it is, although there's a lot
Backed
of
by the
printing
biggest
going on.
guns.
Correct, because they have the most guns. Because you can understand, right? Your money, it's like, man, you know what's a
Dude,
cordial? Do you know
the
what's a
the peop
cordial?
the people of US have more guns than American government,
Yeah,
and and the rest of the government around the world. There's
yeah.
133 million guns around the world between governments and people, and US has 400 million guns by gun owners.
By guns. No, what I wanted to
So
ask was, but yeah, but they are not they're not the warring type of people. They're defensive. The
which is the
majority of that
perfect type,
people.
but that's what
Correct,
you want.
correct. But the problem is that the warring type, you do not need a lot of them. Even a small bit of the warring type can cause a lot of issues. If you
So
look at the
I, I,
previous
I
world wars,
understand
right?
what he's saying.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but there's this saying about
If you're within America, then that's fine. That can be stopped. But when you're going overseas and doing all these wars, those people do not have all the guns. That's the problem. You know what I
so
mean?
there was this saying by Isoroku Yamamoto. Okay.
Mm,
Alright. And it says there would be a rifle behind every blade of grass.
mm,
Who did that? I don't know who did that. I'm on some Reddit right now. So there's this saying in US they have so many guns that there's a saying. Uh, what was the? You cannot invade. Wait, yeah, General Isoroku Yamamoto. how long could today's Texas hold off to? So this is some Reddit. I don't know. I'm just looking. So I heard this saying that there would be a rifle behind every blade of grass. That's what the U.S. is. That's what that's what Russell Brand said on Bill Maher. In Bill Maher, when he went on Bill Maher recently, uh, he said people need America because people in America got guns, and the amount of guns they have is insane. And most of these guns are not by fucking you know a specific kind of people. There's a specific, and they care about is to defend their own society. So even if warring tribes come or whatever they come, uh, they let them come. The
Yeah.
only thing they're scared about is nuclear.
Mm. Mm.
So
Well,
hopefully we don't go there. But the point is, there's what's that?
yeah, but I think we don't have those kind of leaders in power at the moment who are that
It will never
crazy
come.
to. Yeah. I mean, do you
Um,
think Putin is that?
no,
Do you think Putin is smart? Is a smart
obviously
person, or do you think correct, right? So he is a very intelligent person, right? That's what I think. And same thing, I think even if
he's
you
not
look at
stupid.
countries, correct, in even the countries like Argentina or whatever those corrupt fucking countries where pretty much
Oh,
establishments are
fucking
now running them.
racist. Why Argentina is
Establishment
corrupt?
corrupt in
Pakistan
the
is
sense that
corrupt.
they're political. Yeah, Pakistan, all these countries where the establishment is running the business. Okay, they're running the town. Even they have that much sense that we do not need to go to nuclear war. So I think that the one at the moment, the time of a crazy like Xi Jinping, as much as they call him the Pooh Bear and all the funny memes are on him, he probably is not. Dude, you know how many people are in his party? There's 2,000 members in
I
that
saw
party,
that.
and he's the top dog. He's the top dog. He's the fucking omega top dog. He's the wolf pack hunter, fucking right on top. You think he's that fucking stupid? When you look at him, his demeanor, people think, oh, fucking Winnie the Pooh bear is coming. But no, bro, that's not the thing. Obviously, there is a certain amount of fear, certain amount. It's a combination of fear, respect, power, all that is there that obviously the Western media is not able to portray properly. I guess they don't have an interest to portray China in that way. But do you think China is an evil state? Like, is the country like? I mean, not an evil state. I guess
You're
that's a
making
wrong
me
question.
tick now.
A state is that a country where? I mean, okay, I'll ask you the question differently. I don't think that there's an evil state, but I think I'm asking the question the wrong way as well. Do you think that the way the Western media portrays China is sensible or accurate, the way they portray? The way they talk about China in US media, UK, Australia, Canada. Actually, Justin Bieber actually loves the Chinese system. He actually said it on camera somewhere. That actually, yeah, I thought the China system is the best system in the world. But let's just say,
The basic
yeah,
dictatorship. Yeah.
yeah. So
So,
what do you think from that perspective?
I would think the same way
Like if
everybody thinks.
Singapore,
It's
for
like
example.
the media is showing the wrong side of China as bad,
Yeah.
and the bad side of China as good, which is cheap labor, bad policies.
Well, labor's not cheap anymore because they're moving iPhones to India now.
Doesn't matter. It's still, yeah, yeah,
They want to
sure,
build it
but
in India. More better, cheaper labor
the
there.
only reason they're building in India, dude, is not because of the labor. It's because of the tensions right now
Yeah.
between US and China. They wouldn't go to India. India is like fucking wild,
But
wild
they
east,
can
dude.
build. Yeah, but they can build, isn't it? They
They
can make
listen,
phones there in
listen,
China.
listen to me, bro. India is the people in India are not stupid. Okay, when they see monkey do. When they see, hey, listen, how much is this iPhone for? 4 lakh rupees? Fuck, how many did we build? That many? And how much are they paying us? Hmm. Fuck this shit. break
Yeah.
this motherfucker down.
Yeah,
You wanna you
exactly. Yeah.
you know so
So you think in
India
China it could not happen, but in
in
India it
China
would
it
happen.
cannot happen. Yeah.
Yeah, but in
And
India it will happen.
like in India, see,
So
India
reverse
gets a
engineer
bad
the
rap.
shit out of it.
India gets a bad rap. Uh, India is an amazing country. I think the problem with India is a lot of gangs, a lot of mafia, a lot of cartels run that shit that have no interest in helping the people. There's no interest
Mm.
in helping the people. I mean, if they did, we would be a better, India would have been a better country and nobody would leave India. Because India was the fucking state, back
Yeah,
in the day. My people
yeah.
left wherever we came from to India,
Mm.
like, migration that's happening. Like people,
Yeah,
like what's Canada? Canada is filled with refugees, people who
yeah,
left their uh, totalitarian states
yeah, yeah.
to come to a better place. Well, anyways,
Mm,
to another totalitarian state. But uh, India was the epitome of the GDP of India back in, I think, 1200s or whatever, was more
yeah,
than
yeah.
any place in the world.
On the
So
world. Yeah, yeah, correct.
India was what North America is right now.
Yeah, yeah, the Shashi Tharoor, I think Shashi Tharoor, the guy from Congress, he gave that
Yeah.
speech in Oxford. Yeah, yeah. There's an Oxford
So
speech he gave. Yeah, and he wrote
so
that
the
book as well. Yeah.
there's this wait a minute. There's a India factory iPhone riot.
Has
So
already
in
started, has
December,
it?
no, in December 2020, riots at Apple plant in India caused 7 million in damage. New York Post.
Hmm. That's
This
another
is
thing.
You never knew about this. I knew because I was like,
Yeah, I didn't
2020.
know. I know.
I was not working. They fucking didn't let
So
me
they had a
work.
plant in India, an Apple plant in
Yes,
India.
yeah.
What were they
They
making
all
there?
they were making iPhones. So look at that. And range workers reportedly caused millions of dollars in damage at an Apple supplier factory in India where they protested poor labor condition over the weekend. Thousands of contract workers showed up at the iPhone factory run by Taiwan-based manufacturer. So they weren't run by Apple. It was run by a Taiwanese company
They
opening
must
up
be
in
making
India.
some parts or whatever to build the iPhone. Yeah,
So
supplier.
the moment those Indians went like, motherfucker,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck is going?
What's
Dude,
going
you
on?
gotta see. You should go riots at Apple plant
I
in
mean, dude,
India.
at least people are not committing suicide in China. Fuck, man, they had to build around the factory. They had to build these fucking trampolines so that people,
Yeah,
trampolines and wiring so that people could not commit
but
suicide.
nobody would care. Nobody
Yeah.
cares. Everybody has an outrage on their slave-made iPhones, right? I love them. I love my
Yeah,
iPhones, dude.
I got
I
my
love
iPhones.
them.
Yeah, I got
Fucking,
two, motherfucker. I got two. I got
I
two
don't.
fucking iPhones. Yeah.
Too, like, look at
I
you.
love them so
Uh,
much. Give me
You
more
love
of
that.
that fucking
You
labor
love that
fucking
slave
slave labor
fucking
iPhone.
device.
That's
And
right, bro.
then
And
the
don't not
battery.
to mention the battery that comes from the cobalt,
Uh,
the Congo, that
it's
some of that Congolese fucking batteries, bro. Yeah, that's
so the reason me and you are talking about it right now is because the big boys who have a lot of money,
yeah.
okay, ha, have balls to talk about it that allows people like us to talk about it. This was a known fucking fact for ages. Like there's this Ricky Gervais
Yeah.
uh, roast of Tim Cook on Golden Globe. I love
Oh,
that guy.
Golden Globes. Fuck that guy,
Right?
dude. Have you seen his show Afterlife? Have you
No,
heard about it?
I've heard about it. I saw a
Dude,
video of him.
simple premise. An old lady at work, I really respect her colleague. She was my manager. She told me, "Oh, have you guys seen Afterlife? It's really good." And I was like, "Oh yeah." Sound like a boring topic, but then it's basically this guy whose wife gets cancer, dies. first episode, and he loves his wife and loves his wife,
Oh, it's like
and she
John
leaves
Wick.
him a dog, and she leaves him a dog. Yeah, yeah, she leaves
It's
him a
John
dog.
Wick.
She leaves him a dog, and he is this guy who sits in his bed, drinks wine all day, and watches all the home videos of he and his wife doing all these pranks. His wife doing all these pranks on him. And dude, he's a miserable fucking cunt. Okay, he goes out there and he treats everyone like shit. The sarcasm and the comedy in that thing is at a different level,
Oh
and
yeah,
he's like, and the jokes are borderline fucking like it
I
goes from
agree with him.
pedophilia to, oh bro, it's perfect. It's the most
Listen, I saw
funny.
I
It's
saw
such a
one
dark
yesterday.
fucking comedy,
I, s-
like the one that
I,
yeah,
s- I saw one and I was like, fuck, this is what I do
it's
anyways.
very good
So
comedy, bro. Very good
he's
comedy.
walking on the street, and there's this guy, like a Gen A and Gen Z, he's like wearing this save the
Mm-hmm.
children kind of fucking thing, and is like, would you like to give some donation to save the children? And it's like, oh, sorry, thank you. Let's go, oh, so you don't care about the children? It's like,
Yeah.
when the fuck?
What did I say?
Yeah, when the fuck, it was just like, hey, okay, thank you, and let's move. You're gonna guilt trip me into fucking paying you guys?
Mm-hmm.
You just care about the paycheck, motherfucker. And I'm just adding all this stuff. But then he walks, and then there's this poor lady
Yeah.
sitting there with a cup, right? And he goes and is like, hey, four eyes, because the guy was wearing glasses. Hey, four eyes. And he puts his fucking pounds in his lady's. Like, it's a fuck
Yeah.
you. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
you're making me feel guilty
Yeah.
so I can pay your salary
Yeah.
because the poor people are in front of us. When we pay them, we are told, oh, but they just go and take drugs, man.
Dude, another thing I noticed is the amount of beggars that have disappeared after COVID. When I went back to office,
Because
I would
people
see
don't
every
have
time,
cash.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah, no
gotta
more
understand,
cash
people do
anymore.
not
Yeah,
have cash. So if you don't
yeah.
carry cash, I feel bad. Sometimes I'm like, fuck, I need to carry cash. Why? Because at a moment
Mm.
I'm at a traffic light and I go, I look at the guy, I go, I want to do
Sure, don't
something
have
good.
cash. Yeah.
I want to make sure he gets his hit of crystal meth. I'll take out my $5 and like,
That's
hey
right.
man, enjoy,
Yeah, I mean,
enjoy.
same thing. Today, someone knocked on the fucking door. I went out, and it was this
Not
African
that.
gentleman. I think one of those refugees. Definitely someone who could not speak much English. But the guy was obviously working in the hot sun today. It was not, I wouldn't say pretty hot, but it was pretty warm today. But the thing was, like he was dressed with he had a blue vest on. The one that where you, as a traffic warden or someone who's working in security, you would wear this jacket on top. Like if you're working at the tennis or you're working at a fucking sporting event, you would wear this kind of vest. He's wearing a vest. He was saying, I opened the door and he gave me this fucking card, a laminated card. I
Mm.
looked at it and there's like a bunch of fucking, um, poor, poorly dressed kids, poor kids. And he's like, help out the kids, give me some money. And I'm like, sell it to me, motherfucker. Like, how are you gonna make me feel guilty? Then sell it to me.
At
Fucking
least
sell it
make me
to me,
feel
man.
guilty.
At least make me feel guilty. Like, the guy didn't even make any effort. He was like, there you go, son. And I was like, I called it. I was like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, so can you donate some money for the kids? I mean, he said it in an African accent.
Right.
And I was like, is that it? Are you gonna try to sell it to me or what? And he's like,
That's a nice
any
scam,
money
right?
you have. Yeah, any money. And I was looking at it, I was like, okay,
Dude, I would
I
have
was like,
paid that guy $5, right?
dude,
If he
no,
would
but
have
this is the
come and
thing.
said, let's say,
I
hey, I need
I
$5.
decided to pay him. But the problem is I didn't have any money. I only had a card. I said, do you take card? And he was like, no, no card, cash only. And I was
Oh.
like, don't you have a machine or something? Like I can just scan my card and then I pay you like a few bucks.
Mm.
He was like,
I
don't worry
wouldn't
about it.
fucking scam.
And he was like, give me my
I,
card back. Give me my card back. Give me my card. I was like, leave it here, man. I was like, he's like, no, give me my card. Give me my card. Then fucked off. The fuck, man? Like, dude, lot of scammers, man. Lot of scam going on,
Yeah,
man.
I wouldn't even if like someone comes in my door, like even if
He
it's
had
like
no
with a
logo, no
dude, even
organization, no
dude,
brochure, nothing,
doesn't
bro.
matter. If the guy has a logo, looks very real, I'll still not pay him. You know why?
Yeah.
If you put your card there and you don't have cash, if you put your
Hmm.
card there, they can fucking take all your information from the card.
Yeah.
If it's a card scanner, they will just take
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
information, then go to the
You
bank
can deduct
and
hundred
take the
bucks.
money
Yeah.
out. And then what are
Yeah.
you gonna do? The bank does not insure fraud.
Yeah. That's fine.
If somebody takes money out of your bank
Yeah.
account,
That's it. That's it.
you're
Yeah.
fucked. So
Yeah.
anyway, so
Unless
my
unless I get conned while buying from Amazon, then I can get a reversal. But if I went somewhere and gave someone some money and they conned me, I'm not getting anything, which is so weird.
no, it's not weird. I think it's like to me, it's not weird because I believe in that philosophy anyways. Like, hey,
Hmm.
be smart, be smarter,
Don't get
you know,
conned.
don't get con. Think like a
Yeah.
con. Don't do the con, but think like a con. Like, hey, listen, if I respect con because they are
You need
artists,
to put some
con
effort into it.
artists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Conned.
There,
Yeah.
there,
It's an
there was this
artist.
video. There was this video in US. There was this lady, because in US right now, in certain parts of US, people can go and steal openly. Like if you go into a store, you can steal worth $900 and nobody's gonna do shit.
Hmm.
Okay? If it's more than $900, then the police will come and say, hey, listen, the amount of people stealing from these stores have increased so much that the police has put a limit. Like if it's $900 and above, call us.
Hmm.
If it's not, and if we are around, then we'll stop them. But if it's $900 and less, don't bother, please. So there was a video where this lady, she was stealing from a place, and she had a bag, and she was slow as fuck. Like anybody could jump her. Like
Oh
an
man,
old black lady. She was like, oh, and the guy who was filming it was a black dude.
dude, I got
And
another thing for you as well. Keep
that
going,
was
keep going, keep
hilarious.
going.
It's like even the thieves have become stupid. Like you don't need to be smart to be a thief anymore because the people around you are so stupid.
Oh my, dude, you will not believe this, right?
Hmm.
I'll show you this one. Recently, there's a guy, dude. He's this fella is famous now. He Let me screen share. This cunt
This can't.
has been
No,
stealing meat from all the supermarkets, bro. He would walk in
smart. Good for him.
and he would steal meat and he just put it into his jackets.
Hmm.
And the security, like, and nobody stopped him, man. He kept doing it for days and days. He would walk in. Like, now they started putting these tags there to stop people from stealing meat. He would
Hmm.
steal lamb. He would steal beef. He would steal the Angus, like the good Wagyu beef cuts, He would steal them. And he was doing it around town, bro. He went from one shop to the other. He was like a
Good for
serial
him.
meat meat shoplifter, So tough times, bro. Tough times
As
in
long
life. I
as
mean,
as long as he wasn't rich, I'm okay with it.
yeah.
Fuck it.
Well,
Like, dude,
yeah,
think about
supermarkets
this.
were the supermarkets
Dude,
insured,
think
bro.
think think about it. If he can only afford to eat bread,
Yeah, yeah,
right? If he was a poor guy and he can only afford to eat bread because your leaders have fucked the country up,
yeah, yeah.
then good for him,
Dude,
man.
there are people. I'll show you another one. There are people. Times are so tough now. There are people who are going around town buying meat that is on sale. They watch the meat. So you see these yellow tags there on the left hand side.
Yeah.
This is the
Other,
original price. And then
oh,
what happens
everybody.
is that if people, Yeah, they're waiting for the quick sale. They're waiting for,
Yeah.
and there are two
Brown.
tabs.
That's it's oh, okay. It's news. Okay, sure.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
what
So,
brown people do, anyways.
yeah,
What the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah, they wait right till the end, and
Yeah,
then you can see the chicken is kind of going
yeah.
a bit dark here, that
Fuck,
they
I wouldn't
wait
eat that
right.
chicken.
Yeah, man, fuck, fuck all the meat is fine. I think cuts of lamb look okay to me, but
Uh,
bro, there are people who wait. I think this whole fucking thing went for $1, bro. They wait right till
Good
the
for him.
end, and then they go and buy them. And it's $200 worth of meat. This whole thing is $200 worth of meat. That's probably cost them like what, $15, $20 in a pura meat. So I mean, times are tough, bro. I mean, recession.
Times
We
are not
already are
tough.
in a
Times are not
recession.
tough. Times are not tough. It was made tough. Times were not tough. The the amount of production that people can do can make everybody rich. Sorry, fed. Like in
Hmm.
Canada, there was this somebody close to in our area in southern Ontario was showcasing that the amount of milk they have to waste. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
wouldn't
even
drink that
here.
milk
It goes down the gutter, bro. The amount of milk that goes down the gutter. Even here, they show it. Yeah.
to control the rates of milk, right? So
Hmm.
it's insanity. So like that milk could have been used so for something else. Just hold on, okay? Hello.
You gotta go. We can go. We can stop this session, bro. I guess I could go to bed when you're ready.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that was my child.
I put you on
So
mute
yeah,
anyway. Don't worry.
so I think yeah. So to me, it's like this. You can make
It was
it
happening
cheap.
during the Great Depression. They were also doing the same thing in America. They were actually burning a lot of wheat, and all grains were being burnt so that they could keep the price at a certain place. Overproduction. In socialist countries during communist era, they were doing this kind of stuff. They were overproducing, and they were controlling the price by burning all that shit. So
That's so
it's pretty
wrong.
common. Dude,
That
even here
wouldn't
in
be
COVID, during COVID, they were throwing strawberries away in tons of strawberries, bro. But that was because of COVID. They were
what?
producing all that, and nobody's buying it, so they had to throw it away.
Why would no one? Fucking, I would have smoothies every day. Fucking, so how
Dude,
much
people,
nutrients are
bro.
there in
Think the reason why that happened was because they couldn't get enough people to come and pick the strawberries. They don't have any machinery to pick up the strawberries.
mm,
So everything was going to waste. So they were just pulling it out of the ground and throwing it. And there was another one where I think some girl
they
was
don't have
abused.
Mexicans, eh?
No,
Flying in.
some girls were being abused or something like that. Like when I say abused, I mean not physically, just not getting paid well or got treated shit
Oh.
by their employer or whatever. There are a lot of European students who come here to do cherry picking and strawberry picking or whatever. They're not happy.
Hmm.
You know what they started doing? They started putting pins in strawberry boxes. So you go home, you put a strawberry in your mouth, and there'll be a pin inside it. Needles,
I don't,
needles,
I don't
bro.
believe that.
Fuck.
Why would they do
No, no,
that?
no, no. It happened, bro. It happened. They will such
But
scare
what?
people
No,
stop
no,
eating.
wait, hold
What
on.
do you
Why
mean?
would they do it? Okay,
So what happened
you're
is there was
saying
a
it
girl.
happened.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
say,
bro.
okay, here's my thing.
Yeah,
When I say things like this, think it this way, okay?
yeah. Why
You
would it
say,
happen? Yeah, no.
why would, let's, critical thinking. You're saying, I saw it in the news, I believe it. My question is, why the fuck would anybody do that to the consumer? Who gives a fuck? Like, if I'm that European
Dude,
woman,
not everybody.
why
Dude,
would
not
I go?
everybody's
No,
like you. Not
no,
everybody's
no,
like
no,
us. Not everybody's
no,
sane.
no, no, I get that. I get that. But the point is, why would they do that to the consumer? What has the consumer done
Nothing.
to these European women? This is bullshit. I wouldn't like even if I'm a bad person, until or unless I'm mentally ill. Like I
Maybe they were
need to
mentally
be.
ill.
So how many of them were mentally ill? All of them?
Dude,
You're saying that
dude,
all
it
these.
just takes one person. Just takes one person. No, so what
Okay,
happened is,
so
no,
they
no, I'll
might
tell you what
be.
happened.
Mm,
Just one box came up with pins, or couple of boxes came with pins, and it ended up at a fucking supermarket. And when the supermarket Customer picked it up or whatever, ate it, and they complained. It ended up in the news because the news, fucking the supermarket side dumping all that stuff back to the suppliers. Those suppliers, even the ones who do not have any pins in their fruit, they all had to dump all their product. So that's where it all began. Dude, they had to get scanners, like metal detectors, to fucking go through all the pages. Because once a fear sets in front of, if people start becoming fearful, it becomes very hard for them. Even dude, myself, I stopped buying those strawberries because I didn't
I
know
think it's
which
I
strawberry would
think it's
have it.
bullshit. I think it's bullshit. I think it was created by the same people who wanted an
The
excuse to
Strawberry
dump.
Association of Australia.
Hey, listen,
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
I do not believe any human who's sane would do that to any other human. Like you need to be a fucking like a evil person to do that. Bro, okay,
Well,
here's my thing.
evil
Do you,
exists, bro. Evil exists.
okay, but listen, it's impossible in my opinion, like if evil exists, it's impossible in my opinion that these people, if they're evil, they would be working in a strawberry farm.
Dude, pedophiles work at schools. Come on. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
my, oh my God.
pedos exist.
Okay,
Pedos exist.
yeah, but if sure, pedos
Yeah.
exist, but if I want to put pins into somebody's mouth, right? I want to know who I'm doing it to. If I'm a serial killer or if I'm a bad person,
No, no.
I
So,
just
no,
don't want.
the argument is that the person who did it, they hated the fucking owner or the person who's running the farm.
I don't buy
And
it.
as a revenge, they did that.
I get
Yeah.
it. I just don't buy it. I
I know.
understand.
I know
I
you don't
might
buy
be
it. Yeah,
news,
yeah, yeah,
but I
yeah.
just don't. I don't believe. I
That's
don't
what they
think
say. News
humans.
to me, bro. Yeah.
It's bullshit in my opinion. It can be true.
Well,
I'm not
yeah,
saying
yeah.
no.
But thing is
Did they
that people
find
know
out
in
who it was?
Australia. No, of course
Did they
not, bro.
find out?
Of course not.
Okay, if they did
No.
not find out who it was, and they threw a lot of strawberries to keep the strawberry prices up, be
Mm.
critical. I would say be critical. You know,
I mean, so you
that's
can't
the
keep
thing.
strawberry prices. But the thing is, nobody was buying it anyway. So I'm not even sure why would they do that. Because during COVID, there was no enough people to pick it. Anyway, apart from that, I think the
They
world is
needed an
definitely.
excuse to they needed an excuse to show that, hey, listen, if we are dumping all this shit, which we could have
You gotta be
easily give
helping
it to
us
poor
out.
people, we could have called, hey, listen, we have buses, take all these homeless people, right? Incentivize them, say, hey, listen, all these homeless people, will give them showers, spend a little money on them, pay them a little less,
Get them on the
and
bus.
put them. And
What was that
even if they
story
don't do
where they
it,
got homeless people picked up on the bus? Was it a movie or it happened for real in
fucking,
reality
it's
where
happening in the US right
they
now.
sent it out in a bus where they would pick up all these homeless people, put them in the bus, and then they
Yeah,
would
that happened
take them somewhere.
it happened
Korea?
in California or something.
Yeah.
California or something. They do that everywhere. It's like one city picks up the homeless from one city and drops it to another city, and then they do the same. It's like it's stupid. I don't know. Anyways,
It is
it's
weird,
whatever.
bro. Yeah, I mean, I remember I read this article about in Korea when the Olympics came to Korea. I don't know in which year, but I think in the last decade or something, or two decades ago, when they had the thing. There was a story I read where they rounded up all the beggars, homeless, and people who have mental issues, and they sent them to
Hmm.
this insane asylum. And some girl escaped from that insane asylum, and they would just kill and torture all these people and just bury them in these mounds. Like there was a huge backyard, like a huge forest. They would just bury people over there. Like they basically, in order to have the Olympics, they just got rid of all the homeless and beggars and whatever, and they just killed them all. I mean,
Which country
yeah.
is this?
Korea. When they had the Olympics, when the Olympics were coming, before the Olympics came, they did this huge, massive cleanup.
This is South
And I
Korea or
think
North Korea?
no, South, North Korea में कहाँ
Oh,
South
no
में
way. So they are also the same. There's the only difference is one
bro.
supported
Yeah,
by
and
one.
I think this was like in the early. I mean, the internet has been there for a long time, but the early internet articles, like internet news, like more like the days
It's
before
not
the
mainstream.
newspapers went to, yeah, before the newspapers went to, this was more like a blog. I remember there was a blog by a Bahraini journalist. They still don't know who he is. I think the blog has now died. I think during the Arab Spring or before the Arab Spring and all that, this guy was
Hmm.
very critical against the Bahraini government, and he had a name of a Bahraini fish. There was a there's a, like it's a hamur from Dubai and the Arabian
Hmm.
waters. There was a very common fish that was found in Bahrain. So he named his blog with that
Hmm.
name, and I think he was operating out of Bahrain or whatever. And there were two journalists who were operating out of Dubai back then, running a blog as well. They're very critical of the Dubai government. I think they all got caught, but the Bahraini survived. So
Caught?
it
What
was,
do you mean caught?
I mean, they got criticized or whatever, and
Oh, okay.
they
Now
got
you're talking.
their real identities were revealed, but they never harmed. They're still alive. They're still working in Dubai. Two of them. I don't know. I mean, these are the ones that we know that were warned. Okay, they didn't have the
Hmm.
Khashoggi thing happen to them. But
Okay.
when it comes to the Bahraini one, he just disappeared. One day he just went offline. So nobody knows what happened. So those were the days when you used to read these blogs and they would tell you all this information, like some real hardcore shit. Like the old days of the internet, the wild west of internet. Like Reddit now,
Yeah.
bro. It's pussy. It's pussy internet. It's for like it's shit.
Okay, man.
Yeah, you go to Reddit, it's ultra leftist, ultra green. And the problem is that the kind of comments you read there, you think to yourself, like, have you done the math? Have you actually thought about what he's saying? Can, like, it doesn't even make, have you thought
Reddit
about,
bro.
this is Reddit, bro. It doesn't even make sense. But
Reddit bro.
there is a conservative Reddit, subreddit on Reddit. So when you go,
Oh.
so yeah. So there are Reddits, subreddits in the Reddit community. When you go there, they have amazing content, but it doesn't get, unless you're looking for it, it'll never come out on the top. It has the same Twitter problem. The communities exist, but those communities, their posts will never trend. They'll never come onto the
I
main
don't know why
web page.
people are still on Twitter and Reddit. We should be all be on Twitter right now.
Thing with actually, I have a question for you about Twitter. Twitter, if does the best comment or the most recent comment come on top? How does it work?
I,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the first comment will be on top, and
it depends
the
on
most
who
recent.
it's.
It's
So I don't know how Reddit works. I've
so
never been
so let's
never
say I
been a
post
Reddit bro.
something. Let's say I post something. तो उसके नीचे तो अगर 10 people post underneath it, it's based on first come first serve. That's how it goes down. But in Reddit, the best comment will rise to the top. The more people thumb it up, the more it will climb, it will go up. You see, that's how it works. So if you're
Okay.
in, yeah, so there is a very good Reddit. There's some Reddits are really golden. There's a one other Reddit, today I learned. So someone will always post something saying that today I learned that on this particular day, this thing happened. Like, the Mandala effect. I learned about the Mandala effect on today I learned. So on
Mm.
today I learned, some guy posted that today I learned that the Mandela effect means this, and in reality, most people think the Bernstein Bears are pronounced like written like this, or Nelson Mandela was, people thought that the whole thing. So that's how I discovered what the Mandela effect is. You know,
Right.
a lot of like interesting stuff like people post. Like there is books subreddit, there's a conservative subreddit, there's a trees subreddit as well. There's a Bob Marley subreddit that takes all his songs and dissects them, and what time it
Hmm.
came out, what date it came out. Like he got shot
Interesting.
and he survived, then he released some songs, and the song that he was performing when he got shot, stuff like that. Like people have done all the dissection. So Reddit is
Hmm.
still good for certain things, but most of it is shit. Pretty shit. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
know about
absolutely.
Twitter, but for what I like about Twitter is that it's run by an innovative entrepreneur who spent $44 billion.
It will be the newspaper of the future. That's what they're saying. It's a self-sourced newspaper of the future. But you gotta understand, right? Let's go back. Not going back to anything. I just remembered when you mentioned that if there's no grid, how are we gonna transact? But I'm actually worried about it. If there is no grid, there are many other things to worry about. Like Twitter, if there's no grid, there's no internet, bro.
Who
You're
cares?
fucked. Or are
Right?
all the information, because we need to communicate as human beings, communication is gonna
No,
stop.
no, no. We
How will
don't
you
need to
communicate without
communicate.
the grid? Come on, dude. Don't tell me you're gonna have
Uh,
pigeons now.
no, no. We do
Then
not need
what?
to communicate. We do not like the in the hierarchy of needs.
How are we gonna do this
Communicate.
podcast, bro?
Well, you gotta go make your own fucking food. Do the real thing. You don't have to
Get your
make
own fucking pod.
podcaster.
Get your own fucking podcast.
No, think about it. The reason we are doing podcasts is because there's something in our lives that we cannot achieve or we are trying to achieve. And this is a good platform to do it. We've seen a lot of people doing it for years now,
Hmm.
the pioneers, right? At that time, we had our own situation, kids, family, or this sense of like, hey, would I be mobbed? Will I lose a job? Now we are comfortable doing that, right? Like I wanted to do a podcast for a long time, but I was like, it's too controversial. I'll keep my mouth, But now I'm at the level like, fuck all this shit. I don't care. I don't care what
Hmm.
happens. Because it's gonna happen what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen? The worst
No, I
that
think
can
the
happen?
the other thing with podcast is that what I really needed was they had not. I mean, the COVID allowed podcast to go truly international in sense that now you could be sitting in Canada, I could be sitting here in Australia, and we can do that.
We could do
Whereas
that before. There was
no,
no
you could do
need
it
for.
before. There was Skype, yeah, there was Skype and everything, but it was still not that easy the way they made it now. Like they
I think,
recently did
I think okay, this is how I see it. Because I'm very critical generally, right? So I'm critical of myself. Now that all these topics that we believe in have come into the forefront and has become a little bit more popular, it feels for us to be more comfortable talking about it because the big boys are talking about it. When the big boys don't talk about it, and you who cannot take the responsibility of being a big boy, you do not want to talk about it because your life is not in order to do that. You're fighting some
mm,
big demons. So right now, the big boys are talking. He's a billionaire. He's the fucking richest man in the world. He's talking about
they
it.
can talk about
So
it.
I
Yeah,
can talk
everybody's
about
talking
that.
about it.
Uh, if I'm a nobody, and even if I'm somebody, and I'm talking about it, I will become a nobody very soon. So, so I'm not shitting on our podcast. I'm just saying that this is the reality we live in. That's to me. Uh, the fact we are just soldiers, small soldiers in the bigger fight of to save humanity. We are doing nothing big here. It's just two guys talking. I'm not if I have a farm, right now, if I have an acreage, right, I wouldn't be on a podcast talking to you.
Mm,
If I had
true.
that kind of cash, I would buy a farm and build a farm, get some guns, protect my land and do what's needed to do. That would be me. The fact that I can't do that is podcast. Like, hey, listen, I have time. If I'm actually working towards what I believe in, I wouldn't be doing a podcast. So if the grid goes down,
There'll be other shit to do.
nobody cares about this. I don't personally. I wouldn't be watching podcasts. I
Mm,
would say that to people like who's watching a podcast and they can afford to fucking buy a piece of land and build something, go fucking build something. Don't waste your time watching this shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Get
Fuck, why we don't watch
learn
that? Yeah,
something today. Learn
yeah, yeah,
something today.
yeah, yeah.
If you have the money, if you believe in it, go. And if you have the wealth and power to do something and make a homestead, go and do that. Uh, And that's how I see it, you know. Do your part. We are doing our part with the resources we have. The moment I have it, I won't be doing any podcast. So if the grid does go down, you who listen to us would be in a better position than the people telling this,
Mm, mm,
you know, uh, because that way at least you save your society, your own life, and you know your chances of surviving is always better if you do it instead of doing another podcast. Oh, I'm doing another podcast. I have lots. I have $1 million in bank. I don't know. I don't like what's happening, but I don't want to spend that $1 million because, you know, I want to fucking lose that $1 million because my bank manager or my asset manager is gonna abuse it, drive a Porsche, go take a line of fucking cocaine over a stripper's ass, right?
mm.
With my money. Uh, might as well take that money out, do something good, go out, build a fucking homestead,
Be an
or
entrepreneur.
so stop. And if I had the opportunity, I would do it any fucking day. Dude, it is what it is. The 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 economic situation is that the people who want to do it would not be able to do it, and the people who will have the money would not want to do it. That's
Mm.
that's
That's what
the
they're doing. They're
that's
stopping people from being entrepreneurs. They're discouraging. They're punishing you. Literally in Australia, they punish you for doing well financially. The more money that you make, the more you innovate, the more you risk your fucking neck out there to be to do well to succeed. They punish you for it.
how there. That's why I'm against minimum wage. I'm against a lot of things.
In a way, I think the I was reading about that movie, the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And the reason I was thinking about it today, I found this for the next podcast. I'll send you a video. There's a guy. He actually made a 20-minute, 28-minute video on The Shining, and there's so many videos out there that talk about The Shining means this, The Shining means that. But this guy, he looks at Stephen King. He looks at Stanley Kubrick's um,
Interpretation.
interpretation. He looks at the new movie that flopped, that is basically a continuation of The Shining. Ewan McGregor is in that one. He looks at that, and he takes some insights from that. That those guys also had some ideas, and they you know, pulled out some material from that was the first draft or second draft for Stanley Kubrick's work. Anyway, there's all this stuff. I'll send you that video. And oh man, I think it's that Room 237 documentary. It's actually better than that. This guy did a 20
We are
minute
at
video.
237 seconds right now of recording.
Holy shit, bro! That's it, bro. We gotta wrap it up, man. That's it. That's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence. It's meant to be. So, Room 237, and it talks about. It goes beyond the Room 237 stuff. Okay, and the crazy part is that by looking at that movie, what they're talking about in The Shining about Jack Nicholson, I remembered about Jack Nicholson's other movie, which is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The guy who wrote that screenplay, it's an adaptation of a book. It's an adaptation of a book.
Mhm,
The guy used to work in an asylum, in a mental asylum,
mhm.
and he saw in the 70s and 80s how they were treating these people. So he wrote that story, bro, and that story got adapted into a screenplay. So the book itself, someone's done a video who compares what's in the book compared to what's in the movie. But in the movie, what the director and Jack Nicholson, all these guys, the trying to put in the movie was that in reality, what Jack Nicholson was going through, society at that time was going through the same problem as well. They're all living in this system, and the lady tells her that if you guys want to watch the champions, the Champions League, the baseball championship, just put your hand up and we can watch it. And he goes like, I want to watch it. And then he tells all these people, like, put your hand up. Don't you guys want to watch it? And nobody puts their hand up. And he's like, all you guys had to do was just put your hand up. And the lady would have let us watch it. That Nurse Ratchet, that bitch. And didn't put their hand up because of the fear of what the consequence would be of putting that hand up. That she would let them watch it, but then they would have to suffer from some other way. So that hidden fear, and the great thing that is in the book that they don't talk about in the movie, but is very relevant today, is the pacification of men. The One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the movie is about the suppression of manhood, which is there in the book, but in the movie is very subtly put in, because they're all men. They're all basically men, and they're being
Men are
treated like
idiots.
kids. They're being treated like
Dude,
kids,
if
Yeah.
if men are not pacified, then they will start fucking. It will become chaotic, and women don't like it. So the feminine side is like, oh, we don't like that shit. Let's keep pacified
They
men.
call it masculine, what is it, toxicity or whatever. That I don't know whether you remember the movie or
We
not.
need a
I also don't
balance.
remember
We
it.
we we are we are
Yeah.
off balance. We need a balance. I'm not saying complete men fucking craziness is good, but what I'm saying is the complete fucking female energy is also not good. We need a balance. We need to balance it
Need the
out.
balance.
And the balance that they're giving to us is fucked up. It's not good.
Yeah. All right, bro. I think we should wrap it up. Time to hit the
Yeah.
sack.
Uh,
We'll do this one again.
mm.
We had a good session today. A lot of things to talk
You
about.
feel it,
We
eh?
went from
Yeah.
gun ownership to a lot of things and back to gun ownership and then One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I think it
All
was
right,
good.
man. Have a good one, bro.
I felt
I'll talk
it was
soon.
a free one.
It was a free one. चल ठीक है. Bye bye.
All right, buddy, bye.
See you, man.